Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. I'm the Captain Joey Savage.
Corey DLG.
Nico DLG.
And we are Nerd Thug Radio on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Sister station.
You can also find us on the World Wide Web right now. If you don't have the FM in the Conroe area, it's irlonestar.com.
It's an app. You can put it on your phone.
That's what you can do with it.
Yeah, you can.
Magic.
Is that true? Do we lie? Are we lying right now?
No, we're not lying. You can also catch the three fat nerdy guys on nerdthugradio.com.
That's where we are.
Or you can go to the Facebook
Facebook.com.
/ Nerd Thug Radio.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Also,
There.
we're on YouTube.
We're on the YouTubes.
But there's not like videos of us. It's
Not
just
yet.
A show.
There is a pretty sweet video of Angry Zach going full on Beast Angry mode.
True.
You
It's
should
about
check
time travel
that out.
And him
pretty
being
good.
wrong.
Just search the Nerd Thug Radio on the YouTube.
You can search us. You could Google us. I recommend Googling us
Googling us.
because we are awesome.
We are amazing.
You get 3 awesome points added to your Google profile if you Google
Right.
us.
La Google.
And then hopefully, inching towards the Christmas holiday, we will be having live YouTube shows.
Oh
You can
my.
see our fat nerdy faces talking
Oh my gosh.
I
fat
didn't agree to
nerdy
this.
to you.
I didn't agree to this.
I'm fat and nerdy.
I didn't agree to this.
I'm
not gonna
fat
do it.
and nerdy.
I'm not going to do it.
It's going to be great. So, this is episode 30.
I feel
The
like
big
this is a milestone.
3-0. This is like a milestone,
We are
bros.
officially old.
Nerds, we're old.
Oh man.
I mean, I've been old for a while.
Yeah, but this is episode 30. Catch all of our archives on nerdthugradio.com.
That's
for
true.
all previous episodes.
All 29 of them.
that's a lot of them.
Speaking of nerds.
You want to know how old I am?
Yeah, 33. Nailed
so
it.
That's true. That's true.
Nailed it.
So I helped move some furniture yesterday.
Oh, boy.
Nice.
Furniture for yourself.
Yes, correct.
Oh,
right.
okay.
And I got our friend James, the Smasher Hatcher, to help
Nito Mosquito.
because he's the size of a room.
He is.
Um,
not like,
so-
not round. No, he's
No,
more like
he's just huge.
a Mack truck.
He's kind of just built like a comic book character.
He really is.
So
That's
He's
pretty
built
accurate.
like Duke Nukem.
yes,
That's James Thatcher. Duke
James
Nukem.
Thatcher is Duke Nukem with better hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So he helps move. He did about 80% of the lifting. I did a solid ish 20. So yeah, I'm sore today. Like I'm super sore. Like old person sore.
How you old person sore if he did most of the lifting?
I honest to God don't know because I did my best to not lift anything. I was like, okay, watch out for this corner.
I,
Looking at him funny.
I recently
Did a lot of yelling, like oh, like I was lifting stuff, but I didn't lift it.
I recently have gotten myself back into the gym.
Yeah, you were doing the karate for a long
I
time.
was. I took about a 3-month sabbatical.
So can I tell you how we're similar? I did karate for a long time, and then I took a 20+ year
Here's
sabbatical.
sabbatical. I got a late start. I took
20
about a
years.
3-month sabbatical where I did all kinds of things that aren't good for your body.
Nice.
So now I'm trying to get back in it. So I work out at the Gold's Gym here in Conroe. What up, Gold's Gym? Sponsor us, Nerd Thug Radio.
Yeah, if you can hear us, sponsor us.
And I am sore as well, but in all the right places.
I don't know what that means.
Just wait till
because-
the second day, because then you're gonna.
No, this is day 4.
Oh, okay.
This is day 4. I've been in the gym now.
I'm
And,
talking the soreness after the.
Nico,
second
when's the
day.
last time you were in a gym?
when was the last time you were sore?
Yeah,
A while ago.
back in the 5th grade,
Right.
when you had to do like
When you hit growing
walk
pains?
across America. You never did walk across America on the track?
No, I went to an elementary school. They
So
didn't
did
let us
I.
go that far away.
No, you just walk around the track and they add up
I don't
your
understand. How many-
miles to see if
How
you've
many
made it all the way
laps
around.
an elementary school track
lot.
is the world.
Well, 4 laps is a mile.
So you had to do a bajillion laps.
Well, they add everybody's miles together.
What's a bajillion?
The whole school gets added together.
The entire school, so you just waited till the small children.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. It was cool.
That's got to be like herding chickens. Like
Dog
getting all the
across America.
kindergartners to like run the laps.
Yeah. That's
Run
gotta-
the laps, run the laps.
You don't have to run. You could probably walk.
Yeah, but I mean, when the kids take off, like, how do you get them to stay on the track?
William's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Lil Willie
Yeah, because
Savage.
he's intelligent.
Yeah, he is super smart. Yeah, when we go to the track and run, me, Willie, Sadie Savage, and Mommy Savage, me and Willie are always about a lap and a half ahead of the girls. Dude can run.
Okay. All
Dude,
right.
Dude can push it.
That's pretty impressive considering
He's
his
sort of
tiny
like
legs.
a weirdly natural athlete. though.
He is.
It's very awkward to me how naturally athletic he is because you were athletic, but you weren't like naturally athletic. You
I was
just,
naturally athletic.
You were just no. I don't think that's what it was. Like you had good
jumped out of
eye-hand
a tree.
coordination, which kind of covered up the fact that you were built like not an athlete. But
I was
William
built
is-
like an athlete
You were
until
not. You were
no,
not. That is fictional.
just because
I
you
know
weighed
you want
like
to tell the story that you were built like an athlete.
I wasn't built.
You've been
probably
Joey
up until
shaped since you were like 5.
probably up until like high school maybe. But I was never the smallest kid.
No.
I was never the biggest kid.
No.
Never the tallest.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
I wasn't 75 pounds with a 100-pound head like Corey DLG.
Correct. I was not made for sports. I was
The
made
mole
for
on your
winning
back.
thinking.
The mole on your back was bigger than the rest of your body.
That's true, actually. It voted before I did, like by 2 years.
That's pretty impressive.
Interesting enough, it went libertarian.
It
I
did.
was like, really?
Weird.
Really? We're going to need health care, mole.
Yeah, geez. I don't. You're going to kill me first, mole.
Right. And he was like, I know.
It was all planned.
What?
It was all a ruse.
I got
It
a bone
was
to
all
pick.
a dream.
I got a bone to pick.
Okay. I don't recommend touching those. They get infected.
Recently, the school system has done their like drug awareness week.
Okay.
What was
And-
that? I didn't have that.
You're not in school anymore, Nico.
I'm in college.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Right. It's a different drug awareness in college.
So every
Yeah.
day, the different elementary, intermediate schools, they have like a themed day.
Okay.
Okay, like superhero or
Which day is crystal meth?
I don't know. I don't know what day that is. That's probably Hillbilly Day,
That's Wednesday.
Mountain Dew Day.
Mountain Dew Day.
That's what it is.
and
I love Mountain
one
Dew.
of the themes
And crystal meth.
was Nerd Day.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
So I'm looking on the Facebook, and there's all these kids dressing up in like the glasses that are taped and suspenders and like pocket protectors. And
What's your problem?
I'm the nerd. I don't look like that. They're stereotyping, man.
They're
They're racist.
stereotyping.
They're racist.
That's not
That's
racist.
not racism. first
It is for me. It's called nerdism.
It's stereotypism.
It's stereotype
which is
nerdism,
barely a
racism.
thing, and it
It's
might not
racism.
even be a thing because I made it up.
It's racism.
It's
accurate.
it's
Not
accurate.
really.
That's what nerds look like.
You don't look like that. Now, if a kid would have showed up in a basketball shorts and a Green Lantern shirt,
We would have known that.
I
he
would have
was
known
a
he
nerd.
was a nerd.
Right.
Right?
We would have known. The school would have been like, "Hey, Stony McGee."
But nerds are becoming the popularity of
Yeah,
the
we're
world
cool.
right now.
We're
We're
cool
cool now.
Right. This is our moment. Capture and own it.
I mean, if they wanted to do
Mom
it,
spaghetti.
let's say like 1980s nerd. This is
Right.
80s nerd day,
Well, yeah.
not
well,
modern nerd day.
Modern
But this
nerd.
is what you think of when you hear nerd.
When I hear nerd, I immediately look at your face. It's what shows up in my head.
Wow.
This
So you think
fat
about
bearded
me.
guy. Of course I do.
So
Come
you
on.
think about me, huh?
You're my heterosexual life partner.
Nico, cue the music.
Of
Cue
course.
Light some candles.
Of course I think about you. And don't even say you don't think about me, because you know what happens when I get off of work every day?
He calls you.
I get a phone call from the Corey DLG.
He doesn't even
Sometimes
call-
it's
he doesn't-
multiple phone calls. Where are you? Why aren't you
Yeah,
answering
why
your
don't
phone?
you answer when I call?
He doesn't call me.
Yeah, well,
No,
'cause
you're
you
right. I don't.
You know
sometimes
why?
I think I'm going to call Nico, but then I'm like, no.
He won't
because
even
if he's
answer the
not-
phone.
Right. Nico doesn't answer the phone, and if he's not doing what I want him to do, I'll just be mad at him.
Yeah, that's fair.
So me and Nico have this thing where we play the clicks during the lunch every day.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so usually I'll text him or he'll text me. One of the two. It'll go both ways. About an hour before.
I've heard this about you too.
Hey, are we still on for today? One of us will say something.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so on the Tuesday we didn't clicks last week because I had some work stuff to do.
Okay, all right.
I said we're on for tomorrow. He's like deal because
Deal.
Wednesdays he doesn't do the school.
No, I
Right.
don't have school Wednesday.
So about 11, I text him. No response. Okay. 11:30 question mark.
Right.
No response. So noon comes and I start thinking to myself, should I just abandon ship or should I go check the Nico out? And I was like, you know what? I need gas anyways. I'll just make it down there. So
Yeah.
I go there. His car's there, but his car's the only one there.
Oh.
So I don't know. Maybe he went with Papa DLG
Right.
to get the
Run
pizza
an errand or something.
or whatever he does.
Right. Right.
So I was like, you know what? Let me just ring the doorbell. And this doorbell's loud.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's pretty loud.
I ring the doorbell. Nothing. Just like that. Silence. I was like, okay, I'm going to give it the 10 count. I'll count to 10 in my head.
1, 2,
Right.
10.
You know, boom, 10 hits. Nothing goes on. I go get back in my car. As I'm pulling out of the driveway, a sleepy-headed Nico opens the door and is like, hey, I'm awake. It's like, I'm just now waking up for the day. Like, what the heck? You could have been spending that time doing Nerd Thug radio stuff, Nico.
It was the one day I slept in that week. This week,
This is what I'm talking about.
I slept in one day.
This is what I'm talking about.
You don't get days.
I don't get to sleep in.
No, you know what sleeping in is?
Sleep when
now?
you're dead.
You're an adult. Sleeping in is 10 a.m.
Sleep when you're dead, Nico.
Okay?
All right, I'll
10
fake-
a.m. is sleeping in. 10:30. When was the last time you slept till 10:30, Joey?
If I sleep past 9, I get a headache.
Okay. Now on a Saturday, if you want to sleep till noon, I'll allow it.
Because it's the weekend.
It's the weekend. However,
On hump day, you best get up because you know we got clicks going,
By
bro.
10:30,
What
you
happened
better
to
be
this
out of
note
bed.
making? Did you make notes this last week?
No, not this week.
see, sliding
Failure.
again.
Failure.
Backsliding.
Backsliding.
I felt really productive this week. Thanks, guys.
Why? Because you applied at the Shipley's?
I did apply at the Shipley.
That is such a
I said, you know you have to start at
I
like
know.
4:30 in the morning.
I literally out there was like, you'd have to go to bed at 8 p.m. And he's like, I know. When was the last time you went to bed at 8 p.m.?
And you weren't sick.
Like 2 months ago.
That is a lie.
Yeah.
It's a lie. It's a lie. Speaking of Shipley's, there's a great Shipley's here in Conroe on North Loop 336. If you're listening, go ahead and give us a sponsor. We talk about your donuts more often than one.
Is this what we're doing? We're just
Yeah, we're
picking
just
on things?
going to
Bringing out
randomly
all-
pick
I
out
do
stuff.
have a donut story.
Oh,
for
donut
this week.
story.
A donut
I have a cool donut story.
So mine's probably better.
So we got about 4 minutes. Let's go double donut story to
All
end
right,
the segment.
you go first.
No, mine's better. You go.
No, mine wins.
When I was in college,
Okay.
All right.
there was a Krispy Kreme donut not
Okay.
far from the dormitory.
All right.
You shouldn't tell the story.
And so everyone knows that the Krispy Kreme, when their donuts come out, if they aren't perfectly round,
They throw them
they
away.
just throw the deformed donuts out.
That's true.
It's racism.
Quasimodo. It's
Yeah.
not.
And
Stop.
so me and my roommate, the Benjamin Houston,
You just went first name, last name on him.
the Benjamin Houston. Hey, look, he was one of my best friends forever. Like
So
the
he
Benjamin
knows you.
Houston loves the story. Okay,
Oh God.
we would go to the Krispy Kreme donut. We'd climb in the old dumpster and we take these still warm, 55-gallon bag of deformed donuts out of said trash can. We'd go back to the dormitory, and we lived at the end of the dorm. Like when you walk out of my dorm, you have to go left to go to the stairs. The
Yeah.
right is the fire escape.
Okay.
Right.
So we would just take the donuts, set it in front of the fire escape door, which is probably illegal.
Right.
And for about a week, people would just randomly come down and grab the deformed donuts when they wanted a snack. And we do it about once every 2 weeks. And we were always stockpiled on the Krispy Kreme deformed donuts.
I almost
like leaving it up
regret
for a
ever
week.
knowing you. Yeah.
We were doing our part to save the kids in Ethiopia.
No, you were dumpster diving.
Not only
Yeah.
dumpster diving, and also people were grabbing it for a week.
Yeah.
Like, that's not.
Yeah, donuts
Donuts are
last.
good
Yeah,
for.
these were.
Okay.
Because they were warm, so they stayed on top of each other. So they like just constantly warmed each other the whole time.
Is this what you're going with?
Yeah.
Yeah, they stayed warm because they started.
We got 2 minutes. Your donut story.
So the donut place that I go to on my way to work is literally it's right there on the loop around, and it's so great. They sell actual kolaches that are actually like 7 inches of sausage.
Oh, yeah, they're
like
good.
Real kolaches.
It's not like
The real ones.
It's not like these little
4 foot of bread and like 2 inches of sausage.
right. No, this is like a
The
real,
sausage is
this
sticking
actual
out the
real
end.
sausage link. Yeah, it's good. It is so good. It is breakfast sausage. It is legit.
Delicioso.
So the dude doesn't speak a ton of English, but I noticed he has a WWE Money in the Bank briefcase in the kitchen.
What? That's pretty
I can
solid.
see it through.
That's solid, bro.
So Saturday morning, I jump in there for some late breakfast, and I'm standing there and I'm talking to him for a minute. I go, "Is that a WWE Money in the Bank briefcase?" "Oh yeah, I love the wrestling. I love the wrestling." I said,
Yeah.
"Really?" I said, we have a radio show. We talk about this." And started talking to him for a minute. Here's the insight. Here's my donut insight for the week.
What is it?
Donut.
He feels like Seth Rollins should be suspended because
Why?
he consistently is injuring wrestlers.
I heard this story as well, but there's been a lot of the trainers and legends who have backed up Seth Rollins that it's not him. It's just some freak occurrences.
He broke John Cena's nose. He ended Sting's career.
Ooh.
He
Yeah.
hurt Roman Reigns.
He did
and
mess
he
up
hurt
Finn Balor.
Wow.
All within like 6 months.
No, it wasn't 6 months because he was out for a long
Well, the Sting
time.
thing was before he got hurt, but when he came
Right,
back,
right.
he did the other 3.
right.
Oh wow. Okay, so it's like one, and it's like, oh okay, that
It's
was
a
the
freak
one,
occurrence.
and then 3 more. I don't.
But my
I don't think-
donut guy,
Yeah.
where I get all my wrestling news from now. My
he's,
donut guy.
He's your wrestling source.
the wrestling.
We gotta
donut.
bring-
He's my Portuguese / Filipino.
we gotta
probably
bring
wrestling source.
donut guy in for some wrestling insight.
the wrestling.
How
I don't
donut.
great
know,
would that
his
be?
wife seemed pretty mean. She might not let him come on the show. You know how their language is just a little angry when they talk to each other.
Right.
That's
racist.
So like it's very abrupt, and they were talking
Because they have to articulate
Right.
the different sounds, so it
Yeah.
sounds like they're being
It
forceful.
sounds very.
They're just articulating.
Well, he wasn't exactly smiling. He kind of had the
Ooh.
defeated husband, head down, shaking it look on
Right.
him. He was like, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, no." So as we were talking, he was like, "I got to go. Have a good day."
Awesome. We also have to go right now and jump out to a break.
Is his wife here now?
Yep, she's here. Oh,
man.
God, here she comes. When we get back, we'll get into some sports news, something we don't normally do on Nerd Thug Radio.
Yeah. Hashtag talking nerdy to you.
Hey, you listening to the podcast? What do you think so far? We really like doing it. Hit us up on Facebook.com/NerdThugRadio with your thoughts. Keep in mind, we're live every Monday from 1 to 3. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're everywhere. Nerd Thug Radio, talking nerdy to you.
And now, the world champions of podcasting, Nerd Thug Radio.
That's actually not an official title.
It is an official title.
We just
We'll
made that
fight
note.
somebody.
Starting at the DJ position, Joey Savage. At this other DJ position, Corey DLG.
I was wondering how that was going to work.
Producing, Nico DLG.
Hey, what's up?
That's my sports intro to compare,
Okay, all right.
to the 108-year curse being broken this past week. The Chicago Cubs winning
That's
the
right.
World Series of Baseball.
Baseball.
That's right.
Baseball.
That's
But we
a
are
long
Nerd Thug
time.
Radio. We don't do a whole lot of sports on this show.
We do pop culture.
We do pop
Sports
culture. We
fall into
sprinkle
it.
in the sports like we're dropping sprinkles on cupcakes
Love
ever so often.
cupcakes.
But DLG, you wanted to do a little sports segment here.
That's true.
So
That's true.
take it away. Take it away now.
So I walked in today, kicked in the door, and I said, guys, we're talking sports.
I said that's right up my alley.
Okay, so first thing, Andre Johnson announced his retirement.
He did. He's
retired since we were last on the air.
no longer playing the game of football.
He then
De
also
Americana.
said that he will always be a Texan.
Released it on his Instagram.
Wow.
I have two problems with that.
Go ahead.
First problem, I don't believe in players retiring mid-season.
Yeah, it was
I have a big issue with that.
okay. So Arian Foster also recently retired. Actually, a week before him. However, he was injured,
And was missing the rest of the season. Anyway.
wasn't coming back. So he says, "Guys, I'm hanging it up. I'm retiring."
And I'm
Andre
fine
though,
with that, although he probably should have just kept it to himself till the end of the season anyway, for money reasons, probably.
Andre though has not. Well, he's been a huge part of the Titans
No,
game
and as a
plan.
matter of fact, the last 2 weeks they say he hasn't been a target at all.
No, but he did catch a game-winning pass earlier this season.
Correct.
And he's
also
been a
veteran
receiver.
presence. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a young Tennessee Titans team. I'm sure they need all the veterans, all the
They do.
leaders that they can get in
So
the locker room.
let's talk little leaders in the locker room right now.
right now.
Chicago Cubs.
Okay.
World Series champions.
Correct.
You have a leader on the squad. He's only 28, but he's one of the veterans in the clubhouse because most
it's
of
a
those
young
guys are
team.
young.
Right.
Jason Hayward.
Right.
They signed him to this huge deal. Didn't play all that well this year. Didn't even get over a 200 batting average. World Series, not so much. Was even benched the first two games. But the last couple of games, he's been put in, right? So he was starting game 7. Going into the top of the 10th inning, they have a rain delay. If you watch game 7 of the World Series, it was back and forth the entire
Right.
time.
It was a tight game.
Indians had the momentum going into the extra innings. Rain delay happens. Jason Hayward, veteran presence, calls a players-only team meeting in the weight room in the clubhouse. They get together. Whatever words he said, fired them boys up. They came out and just wrecked shop and closed the game down.
So
you need that veteran
You
presence.
need a veteran. Absolutely.
Whether
And-
they contribute or not on the field a lot of times, you have that veteran
right,
presence
and that's
there.
what I think makes this an incredibly selfish thing.
I think so as well.
The past couple, Andre Johnson's last couple of years in Houston, there were quarterback issues, we'll say gingerly. Matt Schaub, a lot of people didn't like him. His career, though, in Texans history, is the most prolific
It
passer
is.
we've ever had.
He had
He had a
those
couple-
last 2 years were bad, man.
They weren't good. And then the last year of Andre Johnson as a Texan, I think he had 5 different starting quarterbacks.
He did.
6 different starting quarterbacks.
He did.
And then in the offseason, they came to him and they said, listen, we're designing a new offense. We're not going to just keep
You're not going to be
You're not going to be featured.
the go-to guy anymore.
We're going to just look for open people. Now, Bill O'Brien, coming from the New England game style, New England doesn't have receivers you talk about during the season.
Just
now,
tight
Wes
ends.
Welker,
That's
Wes
it.
Welker and Julian Edelman, when you finish the season, you go, man, those numbers are crazy.
Right.
But during the season, you only talk about Tom Brady. You don't say
During the
Julian-
season, you talk Tom Brady and you talk Rob Gronkowski.
Right.
That's
you don't,
it.
You don't talk about the receivers at all,
Nope.
but they just show up every day and catch 9 passes for 80 yards and a
Right.
touchdown.
And their receivers, besides, Welker and then Edelman, has mainly been like a rotation of just guys on the outside.
former everyone's
Amendola's there
Gaffney, like they just
now. Jabbar
they just pull
Gaffney,
people
Randy
out.
Moss at one point,
They just grab people off the scrap heap. They bring them in. They try
Aaron
them out.
Dobson.
If they can run the routes, they do it. Dobson was drafted and was supposed to be somebody. He plays
Didn't,
3 years.
didn't
in
work
Houston.
out. Yeah.
But so my issue is once he heard he wasn't going to be important to the offense, Andre Johnson didn't want to be a Texan anymore.
He's like, I'm done.
He held out of camp, and then he offered to come back to camp if they would reimburse him the money that he'd cost himself. The thing with Andre Johnson that all the Texans fans always overlook is that he had a lot of money issues with the Texans.
He did.
He had a cousin Pookie situation where his uncle was his agent for the first half of his career.
Right.
And he signed a bad long-term deal.
Uncle Andre.
Uncle Andre signed a bad long-term deal. And then he wound up being like the 15th highest paid receiver at a time when he was the third best, fourth best
Yeah.
receiver in the league.
He had some issues.
And so he came to the Texans. He asked for more money. The Texans really didn't owe him anything. He had multiple years left on the deal. They turn around and they give him a couple of like back-to-back extensions to make the money work. And so when they turn around and do all that for you, you need to just shut up and play.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And so when he walked away from the Texans, I was really disappointed in how he handled it. Now, publicly, he says all the right things.
Right.
He does all the night.
Well,
He
it's
buys the Christmas
disappointing.
gift for the kids.
I mean, he was still a presence in Houston.
Right.
He had all his charities in Houston. He still worked with.
Right. And I think he
But it's
kept his
very
home in Houston
disappointing
and all that.
whenever you get upset at your team and then you leave and you go to their immediate rival in the division.
And it's such an old, obvious play. Every player that does it is somebody who is out to prove a point.
Right.
I'm going to play you twice a year. I'm going to come back home and I'm going to embarrass.
Nothing happened.
Nothing. Not the first year. The second year, he had a touchdown. He had 2 touchdowns.
Right.
But the first year, it was a quiet return. Andre Johnson was barely featured at all. And honestly, the reality of the matter is he kind of showed who he was retiring midseason. I've always said I wasn't thrilled with his character. Not that he doesn't do great charity
Right.
work, but his football character on the field. How good of a teammate was Andre Johnson? He retired midseason because they stopped throwing him the ball. That
Right.
says everything you need to know about him.
One thing that I will never forget that my grandmother and my mom both instilled in me, if you start something, you finish it.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you
Yeah.
agree to play a season with the Tennessee Titans,
You play the season.
you play the season with the Tennessee Titans.
Right.
Unless they trade you away, they cut you. You don't leave on your own accord because
You
I haven't
want
gotten
to.
the ball in 2 weeks
Yeah, you don't just jump ship.
Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver in the history of the NFL.
of the world.
Oakland Raiders, towards his last year with the Oakland Raiders, Kerry Collins won a whole game where he didn't look at him and didn't throw it to him once.
Right.
Because Jerry Rice was no longer beating his guy on coverage.
Nope.
Jerry Rice gets mad. He kicks some signs. He kicks some stuff. He's upset. In the locker room, he has some words with Kerry Collins. Kerry Collins flat out said, I didn't realize that was even a streak. I didn't even know that was a thing. Because it broke like a 200-game streak
Of him catching a
of him
pass.
catching at least one pass in every
Right.
game.
Well, you're not open. You're not open.
Right. And so Jerry Rice, though, did not walk away. He finishes that season. He even, I think, tries out for the Broncos the next year and just gets cut and doesn't make a team.
Right.
But he definitely finished that season as an Oakland Raider, and he didn't let the public know that he was mad about not getting the ball. He didn't tell the public, hey, they're not throwing me the ball anymore.
He just went about his business.
He just acted like a professional. And
He,
so
he did his job.
He did his job, and that's what this is. This is a job. Now I know they don't need the money, and I know that financially, Andre Johnson's set for life. His grandkids will hopefully have money, but the reality is, you finish the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you
Finish the
definitely
season.
do.
You're a veteran. You're a leader. It's a new coaching staff. Like it's a young organization right now.
Young
There's
quarterback.
No reason to leave.
Now, be that veteran presence in the dugout, or in this case, on the sideline. Help those younger receivers.
Tell the receivers how to run the routes. Teach them
Right.
stuff.
Get in there.
Show them how to practice. Show them how to work out.
So we hit on the World Series.
Yes.
Let's jump back real quick.
Okay.
How would you feel? So, Game 6 of the World Series, the Cubs just demolished Cleveland, right?
Right. Now Cleveland was up 3-1.
3-1,
Okay.
and they lost the World Series. But how bad would you feel being a fan of the Cleveland Indians, spending $1,500 on a seat to Game 6 just
No.
to see your team get
No,
demolished?
no.
Like,
I don't feel bad at all. I don't feel bad at all.
how much does that suck, though?
It's not exciting. It's not fun to see your team lose. But you're at a World Series.
But
game.
if you
You're
look,
at a World
no,
Series game.
you are. But if you look on their faces, there's like
yeah,
their
no,
faces
you-
like,
No, that's
dang it, I just
They
spent
bought the
the
ticket
money
to
on
win,
this.
They bought the ticket to be there when they won.
Right, and they
the
didn't.
championship.
They didn't.
And they didn't. So that part of it hurts. You definitely are looking at yourself going, "Oh man, you know what? Like it would have been so cool to watch them get the World Series tonight because it was
Yeah.
3-2. If they win,
Right.
it's over. In Cleveland, you're expecting to win. You're excited,
And you
And you
don't.
don't. But you're at
No,
the
definitely.
World
It's just
Series.
You're
it's
at
got to
the
be
World Series where you could potentially just take it home.
it's
right?
got to be a
Right.
cruddy
Right.
feeling though.
It's got to be it's got to be weird because you got to think to yourself two things. One, I can't believe they didn't win, but two, look how far we are from the beginning of a season where the city of Cleveland sold them out. The city of Cleveland,
Right.
They were like
Well, to
two-thirds
give it to
empty at the beginning of
Cleveland,
the season.
their 3 best players weren't even on the field.
Right.
They've been hurt all year.
right.
Did you hear the story about the marriage situation with the tickets at Wrigley Field?
No.
Okay, so there's this husband and wife.
What did I just sound like? Just said like a wizard?
No.
No.
There's this husband and wife in Chicago,
Okay.
and I guess this is for Game 4 or 5, one of the 3 games, because she went ahead and went right away. So her and her husband are estranged.
Okay.
So they're still married, but not legally divorced.
Okay. So they're separated.
They have 2 season tickets to the World Series game, to the Cubs game, right? He has the tickets. She wants the tickets. He's got the tickets. So she files like a motion with the court, like, and like speeds it through like tremendously.
Well, yeah,
like
'cause
quickly to
you
get
have
this
to do
figured
some
out.
things. Yeah, yeah.
And the judge ends up ruling that the husband can keep both tickets. However, he has to take their son to the game with him,
What a great judge.
and then he has to buy his wife a ticket of equal value to the game.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, and the median tickets at that point were like $1,000.
Jesus.
What a
Where
terrible
he was,
judge.
where he was sitting, like, man, like how bad is that? Where the wife's like, "I'm taking you to court for them World Series tickets."
Like,
It's such a
like,
great
what do you-
story.
It's such a ridiculous situation that I 100% believe it happened.
As
and
I'm reading,
it just gets better.
I'm like, "Oh, cool." The judge is like, "You can keep him. You have to take your son." Like
What
you
a-
said,
what a great moment.
You also have to buy your wife a ticket. What?
Now, see, that's where he loses me in the fair and equitable thing. Like, if they've already, because I'm sure they've been going through the
He can
process
take him
of
to the World
dividing
Series,
property.
but you get the kid on Christmas this year.
Well, like, if
That would
you-
have made more sense.
If you're already dividing property and she's already said you could have the tickets, then
Right.
I don't have to take her.
Right.
Take the son. I think that's awesome. I think the judge.
That is great.
I think that is baller.
Now buy your wife an equal ticket.
That's where it loses me. You know what? She can take my son. Forget it. I don't even want to.
I don't want to go
She
now.
now has to take my son, and she has to buy me a $1,000 ticket.
Right.
Um,
Crazy, right?
there's an old joke. You talk about divorce here. There's an old joke where the milkman is getting divorced from his wife, and the wife, she does. So I've done the calculations. You service X amount of houses at X amount of dollars, for X amount of years. So I'm entitled to half the business. So the half the business is worth $2 million, and that's what the lawyer writes down. So his immediate reply is, "I'll take it. Deal." Like she's supposed to pay him. And all of a sudden, she's like, "Oh, well, never mind.
Never mind.
Never
I'm
mind.
out.
We'll figure out another way." How much do you think Theo Epstein, though, is worth to a franchise now? Like, okay, Red Sox, Cubs. So, like,
He's
if you're
a
baseball-
wizard, man.
if
He's
you're
a wizard.
baseball franchise. You need a
Wizards.
general manager to build your team. Let's say winning a championship gives your team like $150 million in extra money.
Let's do this. Let's jump out to a break real quick.
All right.
Let me gather my thoughts on this question.
Yeah, do some numbers.
Let me do some number crunching. When we come back, the Savage will answer this Theo Epstein question.
Oh,
Nerd Thug Radio.
talking nerdy to you.
Joey Savage here. Thanks for checking out our archives for Nerd Thug Radio. Don't forget, we are live on Lone Star Community Radio every Monday from 1 to 3 p.m. If you have any questions, just reach on out to us. Facebook.com/Nerd Thug Radio, or you can follow me on Instagram, Joey.Savage15.
Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio.
Yo!
The Captain Joey Savage.
Yo, dropping bars.
That's Corey
Dropping
DLG.
bars.
Nico DLG.
And he's dropping bars.
Dropping bars.
Apparently. He's been trying to weightlift, so he's been dropping these bars on
All
his
over
on his
my
toes.
feet.
All over them
Bars.
toesies.
Mom
We're Nerd Thug
spaghetti.
Radio. We're on Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1.
Sister station.
We are also streaming on the World Wide Web, irlonestar.com.
That's where we
Apparently,
are.
it's also an app, according to the DLG.
It's an app. on
Download
your
it
phone.
in the App Store.
It's true. You can do that.
Or facebook.com/Nerd Thug Radio is where our Facebook page is.
Yep.
You can be one of the fans.
You can be one of
us,
the fans.
Follow us. I'll stalk you if you're
And post on there for us. And nerdthugradio.com is the official website of this show.
That's true.
That's
true.
amazing.
It's got great stuff on there. There's blogs, Nico, step your game up. And there's photos of different events that we've done.
This week's going to be exciting. I'm doing a set review on Joker's Wild.
Nice,
Oh,
nice.
okay.
The Hero
All right.
Click set. We recently just finished our first charity event.
Yep.
We shall be putting pictures up about that.
And I'm also gonna post some nudes.
No,
on
he's
my
not.
blog.
And there's different rants, the rant section. Check it out.
Wait, what happened to my nudes?
There's a video of Zach on there. There's also an interview with our boy Chris Russo from Reality of
It's a great
Wrestling.
interview. It really is. If you love wrestling, listen to that interview. He's got a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
It's real good stuff.
He came up in NXT with the Shield.
Yep, came up with
So
those guys.
He knows those guys. He knows Enzo Amore, things like that.
This week, I will also be releasing the next interview that we did while we spent time down there.
Oh,
It's going to be with JJ Blake, JJ Blake.
this is a great interview. It's not about wrestling at all. It's mostly about video games.
And he's recently been
pretty good.
competing for the heavyweight title down there. So
Oh, really?
we will let him have his due.
Yeah,
sounds like the
shout out
EA
to
guy.
JJ.
He's a great guy. He's a great
Yeah, he does
guy.
sound like the EA guy. He sounds like the
Great
EA voice
guy.
a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of EA Sports, when we left,
I had a question for you.
you had a question about
Right.
Theo Epstein.
Right. So here's let me for those just tuning in.
Break it down.
Just joining us.
Break it down. Dun, 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 dun.
So Theo Epstein is the general manager, or possibly even the baseball president of operations for the.
He is the
Cubs.
god of the Cubs.
Right. He also was the general manager of the Boston Red Sox when they won 4 in a row against the Yankees to then sweep the Cardinals and break their curse.
Yes, he is the god of baseball now.
So essentially, using his sabermetrics and his player evaluation talents,
That he learned from Billy Bean.
he assembles some of the well, he basically was a replacement for Billy Bean. He wasn't Billy Bean. If you're watching the movie, he's not Jonah Hill. He's when they make Billy Bean the offer and Billy Bean turns it down, he's the guy they call next.
Right.
And so basically what happens here,
That's the movie Moneyball, by the way.
Yes, the movie.
Featuring the most handsome man in the world, Brad Pitt.
I thought you were going to say me. I'm not in Moneyball, but I am the most handsome man in the world.
What you do look like Jonah Hill in that movie.
I do look like Jonah Hill.
All right,
That's
so
true.
continue with this Theo Epstein.
So here's my thought. Let's say if you win a baseball championship, your franchise magically received a check of $100 million. Like the value of your franchise increased, the revenues towards your franchise, the selling of World Series things and memorabilia and all that stuff. Let's say winning a championship is worth $100 million. If Theo Epstein walked in to your baseball club and said, hey, I'm going to win you one of those things in about 6 years, you're going to pay me half. Would you do it?
Here's the issue.
What do you got?
No one can afford Theo Epstein anymore.
Well, I mean, someone
a moot
can,
point.
because the Cubs just paid him.
Well, the Cubs. So
So, like the Dodgers with Magic Johnson's money? Because he owns a bank. Magic Johnson owns a
maybe
bank.
here, this is what I was going to get at. There might be 2 teams left that could hire Theo Epstein.
Don't say the Yankees.
No, they'd have the money to do it. I don't think he'd ever do it though.
Well, no, he doesn't. They don't. That's the thing is the Yankees, now that Papa's passed,
Right.
they don't believe in spending in the old ways. The new franchise model is to keep it under $200 million, which I know when you say out loud sounds crazy.
The new model.
But lots of
no.
franchises spend in the 250 range.
The new model now, I believe the way things are going, when you look at this Cubs team and you look at the Royals team of last year,
Okay.
even the Giants team before them,
The Giants, who won 3 in
it's
7 years?
let's spend money on good management.
Right.
They'll find ways to keep our payroll low
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and win.
Right. Now,
I honestly, I don't know what the number would be for Theo Epstein. It's got to be ridiculous. But then on the flip side, what does he really want to do now? I mean,
What do you
you're a
mean?
baseball god. You just took the Red Sox and
the
broke the
Cubs.
Cubs. I mean, who's next?
I mean,
To him, it's almost, if I'm Theo Epstein, now it's like, let me ride the Cubs out a few more years, see if we can add anything to it, and then let me find another streak and try to go break that.
well, okay, so here's the issue.
It's got to be a challenge to
Theo
him now.
Epstein's not an old person.
No, he's a young feller.
Mid-30s right now, I believe.
He was on the tube sitting with John Cusack and Bill Murray,
right.
Eddie Vedder.
He's a young guy. He was a very young guy in Boston.
Maybe late 40s, mid 40s.
Nico, will you look that up for us? Because
Wizard.
I actually think he's mid. I don't think he's even 40 yet.
He's got to be 40.
No, because he was
Nerd Thug Wizard. Look
was
up.
very
Theo
young
Epstein.
with the Red
Let's
Sox.
guess. Can we guess?
I'm gonna
Go
say
for it.
37.
43.
Okay.
All right, here you go. Let me get a second.
So continue with your
All right.
Theo Epstein.
So here's
Let's
my
wrap
thought.
up some sports talk with Theo Epstein.
It draws a corollary to a lot of these people who peak early. Remember the
All
movie?
right, I got it.
How
Go.
old?
42.
Boom!
Okay. All right. Okay.
Bada boom.
But still, think about that.
First guys in the room.
He's 42 right now.
Yeah, he's got a long ways to go,
and with
baby.
Boston, and then with Chicago. I mean, so this is, baseball people stay around baseball until they're like 80.
Yeah, they do. Baseball people go nowhere.
So think of the movie The Rainmaker. Matt Damon wins an unwinnable case against an unbeatable opponent.
Right.
Him and Danny DeVito, and it's a really good movie. You should watch it at some point. It's probably on the Netflix, I bet, if you
On
look.
the
or
Netflix,
on one of these mini
Hulu,
downloadable things.
Amazon Prime.
But anyway, it's called Rainmaker. It's one of Matt Damon's first movies. It's really good. When you're watching it and you realize what he's done, he even realizes what he's done. He set a bar so high that he'll never clear it again. Not without cheating, not without compromising, not without doing things that he doesn't
We're
believe
talking about
in.
Matt Damon or Theo Epstein?
Matt
now?
Damon in this.
Okay,
instance.
okay.
So he then decides to become a teacher of law. He gets a law degree. He goes to law school, and now he's a teacher of law because where do you go? How
That's
do you
kind of how I feel about Theo Epstein.
That's like going platinum with your first album.
Where does
What
he
do you
go
do?
from here? Does he try to just win some more with the Cubs?
Do you then go what's the worst baseball team? Pittsburgh?
No, Pittsburgh's pretty decent now.
I mean, who would you consider right now?
The worst team in baseball?
Yeah. I mean, the Astros were it for a minute, but they've started.
They've
shine.
turned it around. Sports Illustrated, I think, just put a cover up with future 2017 world champions with George Springer on the cover.
Again.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that to us?
The worst team in baseball.
Orioles?
No, they're pretty good too. The Blue Jays, that whole East with the Yankees, Red Sox,
It's all
Orioles,
competitive now. You're right.
they're all
You're right. It's all
competitive.
competitive now.
The Mariners played pretty well. It's kind of hard to decide who would be the worst team in baseball.
I mean, there's got to be.
They fluctuate so much.
But for a long time, it was a given that it was like the Pirates, and then
No, it was the Pirates, and then they
they
turned
started-
it around. Although
yeah.
they've kind of slided a bit.
they've
this year.
backslid a little bit because they don't know how to sustain success.
The Brewers, the Rockies.
The Rockies. No, because they were in it 7 years ago. They were in the World Series 6 or 7 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
My boy Taylor was on the team.
It was that long ago. We
Taylor Buchholz.
talked a lot of baseball here.
We have,
This
and
is
we're
crazy.
not even really baseball guys.
I love baseball.
You do.
I'm a baseball
I
guy.
can't watch baseball on TV, and I've kind
Here's
of
the thing.
fallen out of love with baseball.
Here's the thing with me and the DLG. We're both football guys.
Yes.
I'm the baseball guy. He's the basketball guy.
Yes.
That's how it works with us.
That is how it works.
Nico is the League of Legends on TV guy.
Yeah, I got it.
Thanks for playing.
All right, so let's get out of the baseball stuff.
Wait. How much would you pay Theo Epstein?
I don't know.
$2.
I don't know how
If
much.
you owned a franchise and you
I don't
knew
know.
winning a World Series would give you $100 million,
I don't know if I could accurately say how much I would give him.
would you
I
ever
don't-
tell
I
him
mean,
no though?
I wouldn't tell him no.
Like if he walked in and was like, "Hey, I know you're the owner of. Let's do it. It's the Padres.
If he
I know
walks
you're the
in,
owner of the Padres.
if he walks in and he says, "Hey, I want to come run your organization. I'm going to bring you your World Series." My first question is, "How much do you want? Write it down." He slides it to me. Probably just pay it for him. Pay it to him.
no questions
I
asked.
probably don't say no.
No,
Tell
you
me how much
probably
you want.
don't. You
I'll
can't.
pay you. But I can't honestly say how much I would pay him because, to be quite honest with you, I don't know what their salaries run. I don't.
Well, I mean, let's say a GM is doing 3 on an average.
$3 million?
Yeah. Theo Epstein's worth what? 12? 15?
Definitely 15 at least.
And then let's say
If the average is, let's say the average is $3 million, I pay 5 times the average for Theo Epstein.
Yeah, I would too. And let's say he walks in though and he says, "You're gonna write me one check for $75 million. I'm gonna run your team until you win, and then I walk away."
I'd probably do it.
I think I would do it too.
Yeah,
And
I'm
if he
in.
wins in 2 years, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they all want.
Right.
Because even bad teams make money.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, in baseball they all do. It's rigged. That's why I don't like baseball. It's rigged.
I love baseball.
There's several
Rigged.
owners who aren't spending money. Like they all share. They all pull.
Right,
Baseball
right.
makes a crap ton of money, and
Baseball makes so much money. All those contracts are guaranteed.
all those contracts are
Just like the
guaranteed.
NBA.
They're giving away. They're turning people into instant 100 millionaires. And then there's a baseball team like the Padres or the Astros who try and say, "Hey, we're just going to take it slow."
Take it slow.
I mean, you just
Slow
you
ride.
watch another team spend $100 million
Take
on
it
one
easy.
guy.
But if we've seen in the past, big spenders
Aren't-
doesn't correlate
right.
winning anymore.
Winning in the offseason doesn't win you games
Not
in the
anymore.
regular season, and it never really did. But the Yankees just spent so much that it had to. Like they bought everyone.
Well, they had stars. I mean, it's really weird. Like during the steroid era of baseball, like
Ugh.
when you had 2 or 3 star players that could hit the ball, or if you had 4 star pitchers like the Braves did when they were winning in the early 90s.
What about the Arizona Diamondbacks with Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling?
Randy Johnson, Kirk Schilling, a juiced up Luis Gonzalez,
Yeah.
a juiced up Steve Finley.
And that was it. Like I remember famously, the Brian Cashman of the Yankees said, "What are they going to do? Beat us 4 times?"
Yep.
That's what a World Series is, Brian.
Yeah.
That's what a World Series is. 4 games.
But now, like, if you look at the Cubs team that won, you've got Izzo and that Chris Bryant, who are they're young, they're kind of big names, but
Well,
they're not,
that's the new thing.
they're
in
not
baseball.
superstars.
right? And that's the new thing in baseball is these tool players, these
Right,
5-tool,
5-tool.
4-tool.
Ben Zobrist,
Right.
who is the World Series MVP. He won last year in the World Series with the Royals.
That's so cool.
He's
man.
the MVP this year. He is the only Chicago Cub World Series MVP ever. Because they didn't have World Series MVPs back in 1908.
They also didn't have black players in Major League Baseball.
He is also an alum of Dallas Baptist University.
Oh, look at that. Look
My
at you
alma
there.
mater.
Your alma mater.
Yay! All right, let's jump out of some alma mater stuff.
Okay. What do you got for us?
We got a few minutes here left.
All right.
We'll do a little bit of nerd stuff here to
Oh,
round
thank
up this
God.
episode,
Thank God.
and then we'll jump into more stuff.
And then I'll call Theo and I'll tell him I got him a raise.
Got him a raise with the San Diego Padres.
That's right.
Wow, we only got like 3 minutes. The Defenders on Netflix.
Ooh.
Not a lot of big time news came
But
out
like a
this
lot of
past week
casting stuff.
for a lot of comic stuff. Now, Doctor Strange did drop over the weekend.
Oh my god.
We haven't seen it yet. We'll get it in next episode.
That's right. We'll talk
We
about
like to give you guys a couple weeks to see the new movies before
no
we talk
spoilers,
about it.
no spoilers.
No spoilers. But the Defenders, they've released a bunch of news. It's going to be an 8-part miniseries.
Which is big news.
We all thought it was going to be like a Netflix type movie,
I thought it was going to be like a 2-hour movie. I really
but
did.
it's going to be an 8-part miniseries,
Which is high quality.
which is high quality. You've
I'm
got
so
your
excited.
Corey. Round off the 4 heroes of the Defenders.
So obviously it's Daredevil,
Correct.
Jessica Jones,
Yep.
Luke Cage,
Yep.
and the yet to be seen Iron Fist.
Which is the next series coming out.
correct. Now
Danny
that's
Rand.
early 2017.
17, I believe so. Yes.
God, it's so far away, but not.
Not.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
So
You're right, not
the
at
first
all.
2 episodes, they do have a director. It is the lady who directed Jessica Jones.
Which I'm very excited about.
She will be
That
directing.
was the most. Okay, so Luke Cage by far is my favorite so far.
Okay.
But Jessica Jones to me was the most interesting because they really they weren't worried about the viewer. They took their time
Right.
telling their own story. So to me, I found that really intriguing. And I say they weren't worried about the viewer. What I mean is, I hear a lot of people say the first few episodes were kind of slow,
But they did a
everyone
good
knew-
job of like building up who the characters
Exactly.
were, and that's what this director is going to have to do in the first 2 episodes.
Right, because the Defenders is going to have to tie in a lot of stuff because the shows haven't really done you the favor of tying together yet.
Everybody.
The Night Nurse is cut through in each of them.
Speaking of Night Nurse, she is going to be making an appearance in the Defenders.
Oh, she has to.
Rosario
She has
Dawson. Also, Deborah Wall, who plays Karen Page.
Yep.
They've signed her on to be in the miniseries. The chick that plays Misty Knight also is in the miniseries.
Which means I suspect you're going to see Colleen Wing. They can't
At
announce
some
it because
point,
Iron Fist
right,
hasn't
right.
come out yet. But I think
You've
she'll be
got
back.
the guy who plays Styx from Daredevil. Apparently, he's also going to be in it. Lets me think, is Elektra going to show up? I don't know. They haven't said anything yet.
Oh, could this be the Elektra story? Which then makes Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver has signed on to play the main antagonist of the series.
Okay.
They haven't released her character yet, but she is the main antagonist.
So we've got to
which I
it's-
think is kind of big because this is a big name person.
Right, Sigourney Weaver's a big deal.
Right.
So you got to think it's going to be somebody Hydra related, hand related.
I would think so. I want to say hand.
I
It's
think
gotta
hand.
be.
It's got to be.
Gotta be. Let's gotta take out to a break now. When we come back, me and DLG are gonna break into DC movies.
I thought you were going to say song and dance.
We could do that as well.
Okay.
Nerd Thug Radio.
Hashtag talking nerdy to you.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we're looking for more talk shows and volunteer DJs for our music shows. If you're interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or always wanted to live out your dream of being a music DJ, contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com/contact us, or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
Oh,
Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. I'm the Captain Joey Savage,
Corey DLG.
Ego DLG.
aka the Bilbo Bayo over there.
It's your boy, Bilbo Bayo.
Bilbo Bayo here. Speaking of Bilbo Bayo, we like
Yes?
to give the Nico nicknames
We do.
Yep.
based upon his appearance,
Yes.
Yes.
or if we're just mad at him, right?
Yes.
Right.
But this nickname you gave yourself.
It is true. Because
Yeah.
one, I look like Scott Baio, and also am I tall hobbit, so
It's like Scott Baio and Bilbo Baggins had a kid.
That's
that would
fair.
be Nico.
that's
Right.
accurate.
Be
Yeah.
Nico. Speaking of Bilbo Baggins and the Tolkien universe,
Oh.
there's going to be a new book coming out.
Talking Tolkien over here.
Talking Tolkien.
Talking.
It's based in
This
the,
is the Talking Tolkien
universe,
hour.
the Tolkien universe. It's based upon, I want to say 2 brothers. I could be wrong. It's 2 dudes.
Some dudes.
That
Story of some dudes.
they have
They lost their
some
car?
history, the history of Middle Earth. I forget what the book is called that Tolkien wrote. It's got a name to it. It starts like an S or something. But anyways, Nico, you looked it up?
Yeah, I got you.
Nico's got us. Anyways, some guy's writing it. It's fan fiction, obviously. Aragon has mentioned these 2 in one of the books and the movies and stuff. So they're real dudes in the history, but it's not Tolkien stories. So it's fan fiction. How do you feel about that?
No. It's 100% fan fiction. You want to know how I feel about it? You ready? You want to know? You want to know?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to tell you. You ready? This sounds like blasphemy. This is blasphemy.
Straight up blasphemy.
I don't
like fan fiction.
Well, first of all,
We've made that very clear with my views on the Harry Potter
right, fan fiction,
cursed child.
Fan fiction in and of itself is, I mean, I love that fans care,
Enough.
but I also kind of hate it because
Save it
then
for
they
the
start-
internet.
Well, then that's what it is for. But then they also start to kind of own it a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, you can't do that to those characters." But here's the thing about Tolkien. Tolkien's dead.
He gone.
Yeah.
And his family was super protective of the whole Tolkien universe. There were basically two camps in the Tolkien family. There was a son, I believe he was a son, he might have been a grandson,
Maybe grandson.
who was essentially of the view that we can cash out and make some movies and everybody will love them. And the rest of the family really kind of firmly believed Tolkien was against that stuff because in the stories, there's allegories to kind of anti-modernization, anti-industrialism. He was very kind of a hippie, very pro, green stuff. So is it okay to have these movies? Was a big debate internally. They also were worried that it wasn't gonna turn out good. They thought the movies might not be because the movies are complicated, the stories are big, and computer graphics weren't there yet.
Yeah.
So Peter Jackson really went on a campaign to convince them because about 10 years before they did the first trilogy, there was supposed to be another set of movies, and basically the family nixed it. They said no deal.
Nah.
Peter
Deal
Jackson,
or no deal?
deal or no deal?
No deal.
So Peter Jackson, with the help of the rogue element who wanted movies, the two of them got together. They did some CGI testing, some pre-work on a bunch of the stuff that would be unshootable, quote unquote. They take it to the family. The family's blown away.
They love it.
They give them permission to treat this lore as its own.
And the rest is history.
So now, though, I don't know. Like he kind of took so much liberty with the last trilogy.
Yeah, the last trilogy was not Tolkien. I mean, it was Tolkien, but not in the order in which.
Right. Yeah.
So
first
it's
of all,
called the Silmarillion, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
From the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's his son, I guess, who wrote it.
Yeah,
But he
Tolkien
took.
kind of edited it.
Well, no,
and-
Tolkien was gone by this point.
But he
Took his dad's
notes.
poetic writings and notes
Yeah.
and compiled them and created this. So created it from his dad's works.
right.
But
right.
yeah, you're right. In the Hobbit movies, they took stuff from this and the Hobbit book to make it 3 long movies.
Right. The Battle of
to
the
make
Five
it-
Armies is actually historically well before any of the events of the first two sets
Right.
of any of either trilogy.
It's just basically it was a way to commercialize it. you
Yeah,
could say.
it was a way. Well, it was a way to get a lot of these stories in.
Right. Which
you
is
know-
good. I mean, I loved all 3 of them.
Right. In the Battle of the Five Armies, if they'd have taken some time to tell those stories a little bit better,
Right.
because really 2 of those armies just show up out of the blue,
Out of nowhere.
and you're like, well, what are those guys doing here?
Where'd these guys come
Who
from?
are they? But so if they'd have done a little bit better job of telling those stories of those 5 armies, that would have been a great movie of itself.
It was a great movie already, but they
Right.
could have made it a lot better.
Right.
Let's talk movies.
You want to?
Let's talk DC movies before the break.
Okay. Yeah.
We
let's
said
do
we were
that.
going to dissect DC movies. You cool
They're
with
all
that?
did.
garbage. No, I'm kidding.
All of them.
All of them.
They haven't been very successful as of late.
Well,
So what-
they've been successful. They've made a lot
Yeah.
of money.
They've
but
made
they-
a lot of money, but
they haven't been
critically,
good.
Okay. All right. Let's do this before we get too deep into this.
I've got 2 main
Okay. Hang
thoughts,
on.
but
Man
go
of
ahead.
Steel. Man of Steel. Did
I
you
like,
like it or didn't like it?
Here's the thing: I've liked all of them.
Okay. So you have no taste. Okay.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. So Man of Steel you like.
I liked Man of Steel.
Okay. Nico?
I thought it was all right.
All
Corey
right.
didn't like it.
Batman vs Superman?
I liked it.
Okay.
Never saw it.
All right.
I didn't want to see it.
Okay. Okay.
Whatever,
I
retard.
don't know what to say to that.
I guess
honestly.
we're gonna have to watch that with Nico soon.
Yeah.
Put it on the list.
Okay, we'll do it. Suicide Squad.
I liked it.
I enjoyed it.
Okay. Man of Steel I thought was okay. Batman vs Superman.
Man of Steel was the best Superman movie they've made probably since the first one.
Yes, for sure. I thought Batman vs Superman was okay, and I think Suicide Squad was okay.
So you thought everything was okay?
Only okay. They have not even met the
No.
level of Marvel movies.
No. So here's
Even the worst Marvel
If
movies.
you took the worst Marvel movie, I would watch that probably 10 times.
no,
I think,
I wouldn't.
I think everyone says Iron Man 2
No,
is
no.
the
Yeah,
worst
that's what I was
Marvel.
thinking.
I would watch Iron Man 2.
Are we
which I
talking
actually
about the
personally
worst
love.
Marvel movies in the new continuum, or
Yes,
just
yeah,
Marvel movies?
yeah,
Period.
No. In
the
this-
ones that they're competing against.
right.
Then I would take Hulk 2 is probably the worst one because they have that as part of the
Yeah,
of the new
the
stuff.
Edward Norton Hulk.
Edward
is
Norton
part-
Hulk
yeah.
is probably the worst one. I'd watch one of those 3 DCs over that.
I'd probably watch Suicide Squad over that.
I forgot about Hulk.
Yeah.
I think Hulk middles out. Like I would watch Hulk instead of Superman. It would be a tie for Batman, Superman. I would probably.
I'd go
watch
those three.
Suicide
I'd go
Squad
those three over Hulk.
over Hulk.
But I don't know if I would go any of the other Marvel
I would,
movies.
I would
Even
watch
Iron Man.
2 over any of those.
Yeah, I still watch Iron Man 2. Little whiplash
Got the
action.
suitcase suit, man.
Yeah.
The suitcase suit.
That's pretty dope.
Mickey Rourke. I mean,
Yeah.
what the heck?
Ricky Mormick.
And what was the guy's name that played Justin Hammer?
Yeah.
Okay, so-
oh no.
Guy's so good.
He is.
He was gonna be Iron Man at one point.
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, he had tested for it.
He
and
tested
didn't get
for it, and then Robert Downey Jr.'s name came up.
Got it.
Yeah,
Speaking of Robert Downey
okay.
Jr., I'm gonna sidetrack real quick. They are developing Sherlock Holmes 3.
I saw that.
Super
I saw
excited.
that the other day.
Back to DC.
So here's the thing.
What is your take on it? Where do you think they're missing the mark?
They're missing the mark in 2 spots. One, they're rushing it.
Yes.
I agree with you here. That's one of my 2 points.
They're
I feel
rushing
like because they are so far behind with Marvel,
They played the catch-up game like way too fast.
But they don't have to play the catch-up
they
game.
should
That's
be
the
playing
thing.
the mustard game, not the catch-up
Ooh.
game.
But they don't have to play it.
Bada boom.
So
Those guys in the
dumb.
room.
They don't have to play a game at all. They're not really behind. We're not really keeping score. Like,
No, we're not. But I think in their minds they, are.
are.
well, yeah, and
They
I
did
guess
the
because
Batman
they're
trilogy.
making movies, they're keeping score.
They did the Batman trilogy, which was amazing. And that was around the time at the beginning of Marvel, and then it just went away. And they're like, "Oh crap, we gotta catch up now." We gotta get
what
back in the
would've
game.
been- Here's what would have made it better. If the Robin from Batman 3 was the Batman in this DC universe,
This
That
is
would have been good.
This
That-
is I saw this theory like once like before we got any release on the Batman trailer, like this is either going to be like a Batman Beyond series or something like an older Batman or like a retiring Batman,
right.
so that way you can keep the Dark Knight continuum in the main storyline and
Exactly.
it not be weird.
And that's Ben Affleck and Christian Bale could technically, if they wanted to fudge it a bit, they could say they're the same Batman. And
Right.
I get what they're saying there.
well, I mean, Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk.
Right. Well, yeah, no, I mean they do recastings, but what I'm saying is like
Well, they
can say it's the
recast
same
James
timeline.
Rhodes too. They recast Rhodey too.
That's
so
true.
You,
Well,
you
that's
can
because Terrence
recast.
Howard is an awful actor, except in Empire. He's awesome in Empire.
So okay,
So they're rushing it, and they don't need to rush it.
yeah.
Here's
and they're
where-
also missing the mark. Like they had opportunities.
here's where I'm standing. I watched the new Wonder Woman trailer.
It's finally.
It's going to be
going-
great. I think
it's
this is probably
finally
going to be the
great.
best of the movies so far.
Yeah.
But this is my thought process. I could be totally wrong, but I don't give a crap.
All right.
When you think of superheroes in general, just take away the movies, take away everything. When you think of just superheroes in general, as far as who's been out there, what they've been pushing, as far as like toys growing up,
Okay.
all
Okay.
that stuff. What are the 3 biggest names that come to mind when you think of superheroes?
Batman.
I think it's
Superman.
Spider-Man.
There we go.
Spider-Man.
There he is, right there. Batman, Superman, and for females, it's always been what?
It's always
Wonder
been Wonder
Woman.
Woman,
So they've always had the big 3.
and yet they've
Okay.
never done anything.
They've never done anything great.
No.
Well,
So hold on.
You know what?
Stay with
I
me.
don't
Stay
think
with
that's
me.
fair to say because Batman made
No,
like
Batman
a
has.
bajillion
No,
dollars.
Batman has.
Yeah.
The Batman has.
Right.
But stay with me here.
Okay.
When you get to Marvel side, before the Marvel movies, how big of a name really was Iron Man, Captain America,
They
the
weren't the
Hulk?
big names. It
They
was
weren't.
Spider-Man.
It
Well,
was
Hulk-
always
Hulk
and
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man were always the
Right.
big one.
Right.
And
And
to a
Wolverine.
lesser extent, even Wolverine a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think where they've missed the mark is they've tried to take their 3 big and start there, and people have these huge expectations of these big 3 already that they're expecting more than what they're getting. I almost think it would have been a better option to maybe take some of those 3 middle type characters that aren't that big,
Like
that no one
Aquaman.
has a lot of expectations of,
Like Aquaman.
like Aquaman or the Arrow and Flash, who aren't that big, but they did it on the TV section and it worked great. But maybe even like some 3 middle of the row, lesser known characters.
Here's how you
Start
do
with
it.
there, so
Here's
people
how you-
don't have a lot of expectations. They don't really know what to expect, and then you get going.
Or you could do anything like the animated movies, which are all awesome.
The anime. There's a difference in animated movies, and there's a difference in like live action.
No,
movies.
but I mean,
there's different things you can do.
The only animated movie that I haven't been like 100% like this is amazing is The Killing Joke, and that's because of a weird pacing decision that they made towards the beginning of the movie.
But there's always different things you can do with animation, with like sound effects and like visual effects.
Yeah, but
Some of the things
movies
you-
are
Well,
movies are
I
getting
really
there.
think you could do anything in a cartoon you could do in a movie. Right
Now we're getting to that point, but
Yeah.
up until now we haven't been to that point. But I think they're faulting trying to take like 3 of the biggest comic book names ever and giving us movies about them, and they've hit the mark with Batman.
Well, but
tremendously.
this is really the first time they've ever tried to do it with the three.
All
It's
three of
always
them
just been
together.
the two.
And I think there's just so much expectations from people. They're missing the mark. I mean, like I said, I could be wrong. That's kind of how I feel about it. Looking back on Marvel, seeing where they're going. And Marvel also did a great job of building their characters up individually and then going team aspect, where DC just said, boom, here the three are. We're going to rely on these three being...
They went Superman, team movie.
I think they
Wonder Woman.
relied on the fact that those three characters are so big. Let's just put them in a movie together, and it's going to work.
They can just write off the name
And
entirely.
it didn't.
Yeah,
They
no,
missed the mark.
Like
Part
Batman,
of it-
like Batman already has like a built-up background that you could have used, but they didn't, and now he's like completely different. And then there's scenes in like Batman vs Superman. Like I know about like the one dream sequence where he, like meets the Flash.
Yeah,
That
like
wasn't that wasn't a dream sequence, though.
Yeah,
That
it
was time travel.
Time travel. Oh yes.
Well,
They need
yeah,
to make
they
your-
don't explain what's going on with those
Right.
things in the movie. So they could be a dream sequence. They could be time travel.
I think it's
They
time
could
travel.
be glimpses of alternate realities. Like they kind of play with some things, but they don't even
explain
acknowledge
it.
that they're
They
doing
put
it.
the big three in a big movie and combined tons of storylines into one. I think if you go back and listen to our earlier episode when this movie came out, we touched on a lot of those.
right.
We
Those were
reviewed
all
the movie.
problems we had.
The problems were is they put too much storyline into
So
it.
here's where I think DC screws up.
Go ahead, take us out to the break with your
Okay,
your
so
thoughts,
here's my
your
theory.
closing thoughts.
My theory is they go through the trouble of building it up over and over and over again, and then they just quit. So like they did this great Batman trilogy, right? But
Yeah.
at the end of that Batman trilogy, Batman is Batman. You are lockstep in with who Batman is, what he does. You might even have a brand new Batman, and how cool and exciting would that be?
Yeah.
And then they move over, and then they go Superman, and they do Brandon Routh Superman first, and Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor, and they basically rip off a plot from an earlier Superman movie with real estate and islands and kryptonite, and it's stupid. And then they go, okay, well, let's do Henry Cavill, Man of Steel.
Henry Cavill.
And then they basically rip off the plot of the first Superman movie again, and they just keep rebooting. They don't give you any time to
Yeah.
just build. Marvel basically laid out a groundwork. Now they had the luxury of having no pressure. Marvel had
Right.
the luxury of having no pressure.
None at all.
They basically got to say, look,
But
we're gonna.
didn't they bank everything on Iron Man anyways?
Well, they did. They bet the farm on Iron Man and Hulk together. They borrowed $700 million. If they had failed, they would have lost Marvel, all of it, all the copyrights. They would have lost everything. However, the first Iron Man movie makes $800 million,
Boom. There we go.
Because it's
Right.
an amazing movie.
and then Hulk breaks even and makes a little bit more. Makes about 500 million, 600 million, and so they're set. They're done. It's over. They're covered. They're clear.
Here we go.
They're making money, and so they get the luxury of taking their time and laying out a
But I
groundwork.
also think it also has to do with Feige, whatever his name is.
Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
Oh.
Feige.
Well, again, but that's one guy with the unified vision. Warner Brothers has changed direction over
So
and
many
over and
times.
over and
It's
over.
always been. It was all Kevin Feige was always there, and Avi Arad was there,
Right.
and now it's Kevin
Just
Feige
Kevin
show.
Feige. But if you have a Batman trilogy that makes a bajillion dollars, why is Christopher Nolan not the executive producing Justice League?
Right.
Why is he not helping with Superman? Why is he not incorporating his Batman into this universe? Like, why not just? It already worked. Why not keep making it work? And that's where I think they screw up is they keep starting over.
That's true. Let's start over on the next segment
Oh, okay.
with the weekly top three.
Ooh.
We're gonna jump out. This is Nerd Thug Radio.
Hashtag talking nerdy to you.
We're starting to film our talk shows and putting them on YouTube. Your favorite Lone Star Community Radio show can be seen on YouTube under our Lone Star Community Radio channel and on City of Conroe's Our City TV channel on Suddenlink Channel 12. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see the most recently released videos and find more information online at irlonestar.com/TV.
Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio.
Whoop whoop.
We are halfway through this glorious and amazing show where we talk pop culture.
Can you lie to these people on the radio? like that?
No, I'm the Captain Joey Savage,
Corey DLG.
Nico DLG.
aka Bilbo Bayo.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. So this is the first time you're tuning in on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Thanks for listening.
Hour 2 begins with our weekly top 3.
Weekly top three.
Top 3.
I just ripped off last week.
I added a little flavor in there to
I
change
know,
it
I
up.
feel it.
Switch it up. A little switcheroo.
I ripped off last week. I just heard it on YouTube earlier.
So we're going to go weekly top 3 this week. Before we jump in there,
Uh-huh.
look all of our fun shenanigans up on nerdthugradio.com.
You can Google us.
So, DL Jizzle, this week, you came up with the topic.
That's true.
Go ahead and spit it on the ones and twos.
I feel like I need to explain why, though, because this is kind of...
Yeah.
We're nerdy. We
are nerdy. And we like
so
to do
you're driving
nerdy
around
things.
Today, and you're remembering that tomorrow is Super Tuesday.
Super
So make sure you
Tuesday.
vote. Voting's important. It's
My
your duty.
idea.
It's your right.
I had
It's
an
an
idea.
honor and a privilege.
I had an idea and it went down.
That's true. So Joey had an idea, and it's just not a... Like,
Sometimes I like to stay thematic
Right.
with what we're going
And I
into.
got what
Last
you
week
were
we did
going for.
Halloween.
Right.
Sometimes we do stuff based off Luke Cage when it came out. And
Right.
so I try to get thematic. There wasn't a whole lot, and I only had one idea, and Corey didn't like it.
It was
wah.
fictional presidents.
Top 3 favorite fictional presidentes.
So definitely got to go like Lex Luthor.
Right, like you're stuck with we'd all would have the exact same three.
Lex Luthor,
No, we
Captain
did
America.
do an earlier bit on the show. I want to say episode 3, maybe.
where we talked about who we would
Yeah, we made our
fictional characters
made
that
our
would be
fi-
great
so go back to
presidents.
episode. I want to say episode 3.
I think so.
back in the iPhone days.
You know what? I'm gonna figure out what episode. I'll put a post on the Facebook page because our boy Zach chose me, Zach Attack, and so he made me my own political sign for my team.
Nice.
So basically, we chose our presidential candidate and vice president candidate
from
from
the worlds of fiction.
the worlds of fiction, and I went Dumbledore Yoda. It's my president, vice president.
I'm pretty sure I did like
Pretty
Swamp
solid.
Thing, like Captain Planet.
Right, yours was awful. You and Green Party.
Just
We were just
bad.
learning how much you're terrible at radio at this point.
yeah.
Corey,
you went what? You went Cap.
I
Cap,
went Captain
Dr.
America,
Doom.
Red Skull.
Right.
No, it was Doctor Doom.
Dr. Doom.
It was Captain America, Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you didn't like that idea, and
No, I just
you came up
we
with
would
the
all be
following.
picking the same people. So
You came up with the following.
the following is 3 books. Our top 3 is books that should be made into modern movies.
Modern
So if there's old movies out there, we're going to discount those
movies.
with new special effects. That
They've
got to
be made 2000. If they were made before 2000, they count.
Yeah, right.
So if the book we talk about, so if you want to try this at home, feel free to hit us up on the Facebook page, facebook.com/NerdThugRadio. Give us your thoughts. As long as your book hasn't had a movie since the Y2J, Y2K, if
Yeah.
you're not a wrestling fan,
I got
you can submit it. We'll listen to it.
You know, I noticed my zippers have Y2J on there.
Do
I
they?
always wondered about that.
You don't even wear zippers. You wear basketball pants every day.
Right, but when I have to wear pants,
Oh yeah.
the zippers.
Here's the-
say
I've,
Y2J.
I've worn pants once in the last month and a half.
Here's the irony.
Probably more.
Here's the irony of me and Corey DLG. When I see you outside of work, you never wear pants
At
with
all.
buttons.
At all.
When you go to work, you have to wear what?
Yeah, I gotta dress up. It's office wear, and I hate it.
When I go into my office, I never wear pants with zippers or buttons.
No, and then when I see you, you're wearing pants with zippers
Right.
and buttons.
It's so
Yeah,
ironic.
We're opposites, and that's why they try.
Nico, are you going to contribute to this week's top 3?
Yeah. I have
All right,
some
so
stuff.
Nico
typical
knows books.
Yeah, I have books.
in
Nico knows
typical
books?
nerd thug
Okay.
fashion, the worst ideas go first.
Nico.
We call it worst to first. Nico DLG.
All right, so mine is the sequel to Orson Scott Card's great book, Ender's Game, Speaker for the Dead.
All right, no, I like
All
this.
right,
Like where it's
okay.
going. We watched Ender's Game together. Remember you?
Yes,
Me and
we
you.
did. Yes, the
I
first
never-
movie wasn't bad.
I liked it.
You enjoyed it? I always loved Ender's Game. It's probably my favorite sci-fi novel. When I was like, oh, that's that one, and I was like, oh, wait, there's already a movie. So I got to go with the sequel because it's a really great storyline. It's a really great continuation. Just in the first couple chapters, I won't spoil too much of the book. They find like a new alien race, and basically, Ender is now a bad guy because he basically annihilated an entire species.
I know.
Well,
See,
he did
I
commit
had
genocide.
I had never read the book. Like
Yeah.
I've heard of Ender's Game.
Right.
I'd heard about it. I
a
kind of
great-
knew about it.
It's a great book.
And they made a movie. I was like, I want to see this movie. So one day, me and the DL Jizzle a while back, we we Redboxed it.
Yeah.
Grabbed a free brews and just watched it at the house with the kids.
And I had never
I
actually
didn't-
seen it either because I boycott Orson Scott Card as a writer. He's had some comments that are a little inflammatory, anti-Semitic, anti-gay.
Right.
So just as a human being, not
You
one of my favorite
boycotted it.
people. So
And I knew nothing what to
Right, and
expect.
me neither. Me
And I
neither,
liked it. I
because
was
of
so
that.
blown away.
the movie was great. And then when they tell them at the end of the spoiler because the movie's what, like 5 years old, 6 years old.
Definitely.
Yeah.
At the end of the scenario, they're like, "Hey, that was not a simulation. You just committed genocide." Like that's insane. He killed
cra-
the planet,
It's crazy.
Yeah, he killed the entire thing.
and he's like 12.
Yeah.
Live with that, boy.
So you're talking about in the sequels where they find the new alien race?
Yeah,
and
because
he's
there's
a
like a
bad
whole
guy?
book series, right?
Yeah, there's an entire.
They even have a graphic novel now too. Is
Yeah,
that-
there's also Marvel did a graphic novel like the first like invasion of the aliens.
Oh, yeah, because they were doing some stuff with him,
Yeah.
and then their fan base got a little upset about the comments. and that's when they fired him.
I'm going to say this for the first time in Nerd Thug Radio history. Nico, I think you did a good job on this one.
Thank you.
Oh,
On the weekly top 3, I really like your number
look at
3
him,
pick.
he's cheesing.
He is
you can't see
smiling.
it on the radio, but
No braces or anything.
I know,
top teeth.
man. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right, DLG, you want to go with your number 3?
Not after that.
It's strong to follow,
All
right?
Yeah. Okay. So my first one is actually a graphic novel. I'm cheating.
No, that's fine. It's still a book.
It's
That is a
the
book.
series.
I contemplated graphic novels, but I didn't go that
it's
way.
actually the
I
whole
have
comic
one.
book run, and it was Stormwatch Team Achilles.
I think you've talked about this on the show a bit.
I hope I have, because it's a really good little run that they did. Man, at this point, it's probably 10 years old. A little bit older, actually. Yeah, no, it's a little bit older. I graduated high school when this was coming out. That was 2002.
I'm going to tweet all these out so people take our ideas and actually make them, because
Yeah,
that happens
that
from
does
this show.
happen. They steal a lot
All right,
of
so
our
go
ideas.
ahead.
So this is about actually 14 years ago when
Okay.
this book started, and the idea was these were special forces guys who had survived superhuman encounters.
Alright.
They put together a UN sanctioned team of non-superpowered people to be able to combat superpowered people. So even though they were in a comic book universe, they didn't want to use obviously the other characters because they're the bad guys. So they were constantly making up new characters anyway
Yeah.
to fight in their books. And so they were fighting like superpowered terrorists and things like that, and superpowered movements and things like that. But these were really cool characters that had really cool ideas. There was one guy on the series who had a superpower, but they let him on the team anyway because his superpower was to feel the pain he inflicted on other people.
Well,
Oh, that's such a bad one.
Yeah,
That's
And so
got to be
there's-
crazy.
And so the big reveal for that's like midway through the second arc. He's interrogating a terrorist leader
Okay.
who has the ability to ignite superpowers in others, and they're trying to find out how many he's turned on. And so this guy's like old school interrogating, breaking fingers, knuckles,
Busting
And
out the
then the
little
actor-
mini
just
hammers.
rolling up this guy. Like, I mean, just tearing him up, trying to find out. And like, they cut away. It's all suggested and hinted in panel and blah blah blah.
yeah.
But so finally, the guy's like, I can see the light in you. I know you have power. And he goes, yeah. And you know what it is? It's to feel everything I've done to you. And I would do it all again if you'll tell me what I want to know.
Nice.
Like, the guy's BA. He's
That
just-
is nice.
But so it's a really cool book because these guys are tough as nails. One of them's called Paris, and someone goes to tease him because they think it's like the celebrity star. And somebody stops that guy from teasing because I wouldn't. It's for the guy who kills Achilles. Because these are the guys
to
who
be
take
fair,
out,
he did that. That was with help with a god.
yeah. But you start taking out superpowered people, you start to become pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal.
I like it.
So that's my number.
I don't
three.
know how to follow these two.
All right.
So my top 3
The
this
stage is
week
set.
are basically based upon 3 of my favorite books growing up.
Okay.
Harry
And so-
Potter. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's already a movie. I retract my statements I said about you. So my number 3 would be an animated film.
Okay.
All right.
I think Seth Rogen would be the greatest person to make this film.
Oh man. All right.
Okay.
Would be a very funny movie version of the book Animal Farm.
Oh man.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about putting that on.
I mean, the book itself.
I was with you for a second, and then I thought
Great.
about it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about
Well,
this.
I mean, he's done some
funny Animal Farm would really kind of trip me out.
Yeah, I know, right?
I think-
So if you
Yeah.
haven't
I think
read
it's a good
Animal
choice.
Farm, Animal Farm is written about the Russian Revolution and
Right.
then the years of Russia with Stalin. And
And then the pig dies.
for whatever reason, and I don't know why this, but I've always been fascinated with Joseph Stalin and Russia, like his
Okay.
time.
Okay.
And it's the most boring thing.
because he's crazy.
Yeah.
So- yeah. It's not
Well,
boring.
no.
It's
So
bloody.
I read a biography. I had to do like a report in high school or something over a political figure from a European, or not a European, but like not American.
Right.
So any of the other continents.
So you picked Joseph Stalin.
Yeah, I chose. Well, there was a list. There was a list of people you had to choose
Okay,
from,
all right.
Oh, okay, it's a
and
list.
so Joseph Stalin.
So you were
we
the
share
first one to pick, and you picked Joseph Stalin.
we share the same name. I'm like, yeah, I'll take Joseph Stalin.
Yeah. Why not?
So I had to read his book, and about 60% of the book is just what he did for agriculture in Russia, and the rest of the book is just crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like
They
agriculture,
definitely-
and then he murdered millions of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this book is
The
written
Red
about that
Revolution.
with animals being main characters, and
I'll never forget the dogs.
yeah,
He took the puppies and turned them into just enforcers. Yeah.
4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
Yeah.
They had their own like animal 10 commandments, and they were
did.
fighting with like farmers,
And then
and
they started adding commandments.
then they started
Yeah.
they always started modifying it. Like at first it was animals don't sleep in beds, and then it was animals don't sleep in bed with sheets.
Right.
And then animals don't drink. Animals don't drink too much whiskey. Or just,
Right.
But I just think, I don't know, it'd be great. I'd love to see it.
That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
I think Seth Rogen would work. I don't know that I want it to be funny. I think I wanted. I don't know.
I think,
Dark.
I think it'd be cool that it'd be
I'd
funny,
read the
but like,
script
but
and
like a
decide.
dark.
Like, he just did
Yeah.
that one, what was that movie? The hot dog movie or whatever?
Yes, that does
Sausage
look
Party?
hilarious.
Sausage Party. Like,
That does look
I think he's
hilarious.
got it in him. So we got a few minutes here.
Nico.
Well,
number
Nico,
two?
we'll let you go with your number 2, and then we'll come back from the break, and we'll.
All right, so
Finish-
my number
finish it
2
up.
is I want to see a modern remake of Fahrenheit 451.
Okay.
Man, that would be something.
That would I just want to
That's
see like all the
pre-2000.
crazy like future tech.
You know who
Future
would win
tech.
it? Tom Cruise.
That's
Probably.
true.
Tom
Even though he
Cruise
doesn't,
would do- he would
even
do
though he
Fahrenheit
doesn't do,
451.
Yeah.
even though he doesn't do sci-fi movies
He'd
like,
be in
like
that
that.
one.
What?
Did he? When he doesn't do like those type of movies when we
He
talked
doesn't do
about
like
that.
he's not like Star Wars guy.
Right.
Yeah.
He
But
does
he's-
Minority Report. He did Oblivion. He does a couple.
Capel.
He does a few.
That would be good. I can see him
Fahrenheit
in Fahrenheit.
451.
That'd be a good one.
I just want to see the crazy long billboards because their cars are so fast.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be some great
Because
stuff.
in the movie, it's always so funny. They're coming up, they're like on their little tiny fire truck, and they're like some dudes in like
Now, have you
cone
ever
hats.
read the book?
Yes, I have.
Okay, that's a plus. You're doing really well this week. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. I'll tell you what. We got a couple minutes. You want to talk about your number 2?
Yeah. Mine's actually pretty easy here.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the Freedom series from Anne McCaffrey. Anne McCaffrey's one of my favorite writers.
Okay,
Bunch of
nice.
stuff. There's another series of hers I like more, the Dragon Rider series.
That's
I
your
don't-
favorite.
Oh god, it really is. I don't think it would work well as a movie though. It's probably like a
Series.
like a
of movies.
Showtime type thing where you do a bunch of seasons. But
I can see
Freedom,
that.
It's 4 books.
Stars, maybe.
Yeah, Freedom though is 4 books, and it's about an alien invasion that of Earth, and they take these aliens have always just shown up on a planet. They invade like the top 25 cities, steal the populations. Usually the world's surrender. They just pillage and plunder until there's nothing left, and then move on to the next world. Humans fight so hard though that the aliens have to come up with a new plan, and they start dumping humans on alien planets to see if those are colonizable so they could grow more planets to pillage later. And the humans do such a good job on those planets that they then lead a revolution. And they
Nice.
take back everything.
That's nice. That
It's a
sounds
really
great.
cool little 4-book series.
It would be a great. That would even be a good series as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. You would have like a finite,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
A
a
movie would be
really
good,
cool book
too.
series because one of the
It'd be a
planets they put
good
them on,
like series of movies.
yeah, exactly. Because one of the planets they put them on is actually there's an ancient alien culture that watches over that planet and kind of gives them aid, but they're so advanced that they don't even like do war or anything. So like they just kind of borrow some of their tech just to get off planet, and then they just start tearing stuff up.
Tearing stuff straight up.
It's a good series. It's the Freedom series. Freedom's Choice, Freedom's Landing, Freedom something else, and the last one's Freedom Ransom.
Well, Nico really tore this segment up.
Hey.
Whoop whoop.
So let's recoup, come back, and I'll get my number 2, and we'll get everybody's number 1s.
Oh yeah.
Nerd Thug Radio.
Hashtag talking nerdy to you.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are looking for talk show hosts and volunteer DJs for our music shows. Are you interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or have you always wanted to live out your dreams of being a music DJ? With the addition of Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and video aspects of our talk shows, we are needing people to grow with us. If you or someone you know might be interested, please contact us online at irlonestar.com/contact us, or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
Welcome back, Nerd Thug Radio.
Rodeo.
Oh, we're on Rodeo Drive.
We are. I'm the
Oh.
Captain Joey Savage.
I'm Corey DLG.
Nico DLG.
We
How'd you
are
think about it?
Nerd Thug Radio. We're on Conroe's FM 104.5
106.1
sister
Stations.
stations. All right, so we wrapped up last segment
Yeah, we
doing the
did.
weekly top 3.
Oh yeah.
We got in everybody's
it
number
up.
3s. You guys got your number deuces in.
Oh yeah.
Corey, what is the weekly top 3 this week?
It is books that should be made into modern movies.
So my number 2 is one of my second favorite books to read as I grew up.
Okay. All right.
Harry Potter.
Cat in the Hat.
Holds.
Both of those have become movies.
Great Gatsby.
That's also been a movie. That's a great book, by the way.
It really is.
No, A Wrinkle in Time.
Yes.
That would be such a great movie. It wasn't your number 1, was it?
No.
Thank God. Such a great movie.
It really is.
Space travel, like crazy beans,
like-
love stories.
Oh, man.
There's a female protagonist.
There's like 5 of these books, though, you know.
Yeah, I know. I'm just talking about. Let me go with the first one.
Just the first one?
The original.
Okay.
Original.
They made some like crappy TV movie, I think, at
They
one
did.
point.
They did. But get
Bump
that,
that
out of here.
But yeah, this book has it all, man.
Yeah, no, The Wrinkle in Time was fantastic.
First time I read it, I was in the 3rd grade.
What?
I understand.
No. Yeah,
I
that's
understood
about right.
like nothing about it.
That's about right. That's when I read it the first time, too.
And I was like, "What is going on
I had to
here?"
reread it numerous
Yeah,
times.
when I got in like 5th grade, I reread it again on my own. I was like, "This totally makes sense now. This book is great." But yeah, dude, just space travel and
Yeah, dude, Wrinkle in Time. It is a movie, but they could make this movie 100 times. I love
yeah.
it. A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
oh, I love that one too.
It's such a good movie.
That's such a great one. With Mos Def and Bilbo Baggins, it's great.
Yeah, it's most of Bilbo Baggins and almost Tony Stark
Almost Tony Stark
with New Girl.
with Zoe Deschanel. Yeah, it's great. It's such a great
in
movie.
hindsight, it's a fantastic
It's
cast
fantastic.
with John Malkovich in it.
I know.
What the heck?
You've
Yeah,
never
he
seen this
plays-
movie?
Yeah.
No, I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
Oh,
since I've seen it.
okay.
Sometimes when you watch a movie that's old, you go, "Oh my god,
Can't
how
believe it
did
was
they
this
get so
person."
many people?"
Exactly.
Martin
you're-
Freeman. That's his name.
yeah,
right?
Martin
Martin
Black
Freeman.
Hawk Down effect, where like, oh,
Yeah,
everyone's
that's
famous.
this one right here.
Yes, when you watch Black Hawk Down on Netflix, just do it right now. If you're driving somewhere, go home right now. Turn around, go home. If you're
Hit the
listening to us
brakes.
at work, get out of there. Clock
Go
out.
watch
Tell the
Black
boss it's
Hawk
an
Down.
emergency. Put on Black Hawk Down on Netflix.
And when you're done with that,
And then
then
recognize-
watch Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Right, but just count how many people you recognize on Black Hawk Down. Every scene, every time somebody
Black
speaks, you're
Hawk
gonna be
Down!
like, that guy's in a
Black
movie.
Hawk Down!
That guy's in movies. That guy's in movies. That guy's on TV. Everyone in that movie is famous. Everyone.
Boom.
This is like before they were all famous, though. Everyone needed work. All these young
It's one of those
Hollywood
VH1 specials before they were famous.
Yeah,
They did Black
could do
Hawk
one on
Down.
Black Hawk Down, and the number of careers supported and launched by this.
That's
movie.
greatness. All right, let's jump into our number ones here.
Okay, all right.
Nico, numero uno. I bet it's a graphic novel.
It is.
Okay,
Got it.
okay.
Brian Lee O'Malley, writer of Scott Pilgrim.
All
His
right.
newest entry to his novel collection, Seconds. It is a fantastic graphic novel. 100.
What about minutes?
It's just called Seconds.
Hours?
It's
Ours
actually
is the third one.
Oh, okay.
It's just one. It's one volume. If you want to pick it up.
What is
Fantastic
this
book.
said graphic novella about?
So it's about
Novella.
a female
Novel?
protagonist by the name of Katie, and she opens up a restaurant called Seconds. Hence
Oh,
the name.
okay. All right. Okay.
And her cooking is amazing, so she starts it, and it talks about her struggles of trying to open a second restaurant. And it like crazy stuff happens inside the restaurant. There's like a
So it's
magical
like the movie
being.
Chef with John
It's like
Favreau.
it's like Chef.
yeah.
So it's just another chef movie.
It's like Chef, but with magical elements.
So Bradley Cooper made a movie. I think it's called Toasted
Okay.
or Burnt, maybe. Yeah, it's Burnt.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
yeah.
It's Burnt.
He's about a
And
sous chef.
It's about a cook who is great, but obviously loses his touch, and then some female protagonist helps him get it back.
So is it
But
called
yeah.
Seconds?
No, but I mean,
Oh.
it just made me think of it because of this.
Yeah, but
I like
Seconds is a fantastic book. If you ever get the chance to read it, it'd be a great movie. I think it's got a lot of the great humor that.
It'd be the female version of Bradley Cooper's movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be Burnt.
Or
I want to say it's
John
called
Favreau.
Toasted.
I think it's burnt.
I'm toasted
burnt?
right
I think
now.
so.
Burnt.
I'm
I
burnt
believe
right
so.
now.
I don't believe.
What are you doing?
I'm lit.
Are you,
It's a lit.
is this a movie
I'm
quote?
on fire.
Are you doing a movie quote?
No,
right now?
I'm just doing a Savage quote.
The savage quote.
Could you-
DL Jizzle, what's your number one?
Well, if it makes you stop, I'll go.
I will stop if you
Okay.
tell me your
'Cause
number
that
one.
That was awful.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. It's the story of the companions from the Dragonlance Chronicles. I don't care. I'm a nerd and I'm obsessed with dragons. I don't
The
care.
whole reason he came up with this top three
This is
that I
only-
can-
is so he can talk about the dragon stuff.
Right. So I can say this, but you know why? Because when we speak it into the air, what happens? It happens. So 3 years from
Magical
now,
things happen.
when we're sitting with a 5-pound bucket of popcorn between us, and we're about to watch The Dragons of Autumn Twilight, the first of the 3 books, you guys are welcome.
I'm like, well,
You guys are welcome.
wow, we
You're
really
gonna be
made
really,
it.
You're gonna be really happy or really disappointed.
We really made a difference on that Nerd Thug Radio 5 years ago.
That's right. We changed
We have since cashed
the
out.
future.
We did change the future.
Lord hope we cash out. Oh
We
my
will no
God.
longer be on. We'll no longer be Nerd Thug Radio at that point.
We'll be obnoxious guys.
I'll probably have my own show.
Noxious D
like-
radio.
I'll probably have my own show called The Savages.
Yeah.
Just me and the kids and
Yeah.
Ali Savage.
I will probably be doing religious talk radio.
No, you'll probably be doing
3 to 6
experiences
Milwaukee.
in experiences in Idaho. 6 is in Idaho. That's
Sixes
the
in
name
Idaho.
of Corey's next show. Sixes in Idaho.
That's actually the name of my country album.
Sixes in
Sixes in Idaho.
And Nico will probably be like the anime hour on E3 or something. He'll be the one.
No,
he'll be
no,
the
no.
one that makes it. or
Yeah,
something.
you know what? You know what'll happen?
The
is
least
Nico-
popular one.
right?
The least
Dude,
talented will make it.
dang, coming at him strong.
Well,
No,
yeah,
he's
that's
gonna
how
wind
we
up being
do.
like he's gonna be like president of like
Yeah.
Viacom 5 years from
The
now.
president of a new anime company that makes.
He's
they make
gonna-
shows about cafeterias.
His
and-
like his first gig, he's gonna
daily
bet
life.
big on somebody, and they're gonna hit, and then they're gonna be like, "You're the chosen one. You're the chosen one."
I knew this
You
day
are
would
who
come.
we've been looking for. All right, so break us down with your show.
All right.
What's it about?
So in this land of, I believe the name of the world is Kryn. Dragons used to exist. They're a thing of legends.
So like Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrimish. And there's an order of knights that's sort of decayed over the last 200 years because
The dragons never showed up.
the dragons haven't been back. Corruption. People don't really
Corruption, so no dragons.
Need, right.
So we don't have dragons now in real life.
Well, no, we have dragons in real life.
Komodo dragons.
That's right.
They're pretty spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Plus, there's creepy stuff in the ocean that
Yeah, there
I
is.
would rather fight a dragon than some of that stuff.
Probably
man.
is a dragon.
I would rather fight a dragon
Ocean
than a
is
shark
so
every day of the week.
The ocean is so big you never
You
even
don't
know
even know
what's
what's
down
at the
there.
bottom of it.
Yeah, it's
No.
just Leviathan just chilling down there.
Didn't we say there's a Megalodon movie coming out?
Is there?
They're making it
What?
right now.
All right.
There's also
A Megalodon, it's a super shark. It's basically Jaws,
Like Super Jaws.
super Jaws, and I believe it's
so is it Megalodon tornado will be next?
no. This is a big-
Megalodon hurricane.
This is a big budget movie, like $100 million movie.
Not
So
interested.
you're talking like Godzilla, but it's just a big shark.
It's a super shark, and Megalodon
Not
was a prehistoric shark that was like,
Interested.
Yeah, they're huge.
yeah, they could swallow a school bus whole. Blah
like
blah blah.
like their tooth is like the size of like a dinner plate.
Right, yeah.
Not interested.
And so anyway, I think the lead is going to be either Daniel Craig or Dwayne the Rock Johnson, like one of those guys.
Sounds awful.
I really hope it's Steve Buscemi.
But
Steve Buscemi and
the
like
female lead was one of my you know how you always kind of track like hot young actresses that are coming up.
Yep,
I don't
yep,
remember which one
yep,
it was,
yep.
but one of my ladies is the female lead in this movie.
Don't know who it is. I tracked her, but I don't remember her name.
Well, I tracked like 4 at a time,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I can't think of which one's in this movie right now. Anyway,
he'll think about it later.
the trailer will probably be attached to a movie we're going to see here in the next probably 3-4 months.
All right.
But anyway, so Dragonlance, dragons don't exist. No, everyone says. Then all of a sudden, some mysterious happenings start happening.
Mysterious.
People start disappearing.
Some happenings happen.
Some happenings happen. People start kind of disappearing. Authority starts to get a little bit more oppressive. Corruption seems to loom a little
And
larger.
then the dragons were back.
And then it's revealed the dragons are back, and they've actually sent out their little dragon people into the world
They got
to take
dragon
it over.
people?
They have they're called draconians.
Oh boy.
They're sort of like the gargoyles,
oh, okay. I like the
Great,
gargoyles.
show. Great show.
but they're armored and they fight. They're like a dragon army, and they came from the eggs of the good dragons.
Oh.
The reason the good dragons disappear,
Sounds crazy.
it's a big deal. The reason the good dragons disappear, the bad dragons steal their eggs from the hatchery, curse them, and use them to build this army.
Oh.
The good dragons have stayed away because they believe their children are safe being held hostage.
Wrong.
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 When they find out their
Swipe
children
left.
are no longer safe, they show up with a vengeance.
And
makes
here
sense.
we go.
And then there's war.
War, dragon war.
But anyway, it's 3 books. It's awesome. It tells the tale of the
That movie
companions.
was really weird. I don't know if you guys remember Dragon War.
Oh yeah. Where it was like in modern times.
Yeah.
Christian Bale,
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
Exactly.
Bada boom.
Matthew
Crazy
McConaughey with like a
casting.
beard
Bro, this
and
guy's
like
in the room.
jacked. It's really
McConaughey's
weird.
like a crazy American general
Yeah.
in the middle of Britain.
It's great.
makes absolutely no
They had,
sense.
like they had double amputee skydivers. I remember that very vividly. They would have these guy with no legs jump out of the helicopter to attract the dragon. I almost feel like they told him like, you got nothing to live for, guy.
Just go.
Just do it.
See what happens.
Like that's messed up. Anyway, Dragonlance Chronicles. That's
like
number
it.
1.
Shout
It'd be
out
a great
to
movie.
Shout
Rachel
out to Dragon
Magier,
War.
Tannis South Elven, big time stuff. Flint Fireforge.
My number one.
Joseph.
Hit me.
God, I want this to be a movie so bad.
Harry
See?
Potter 3? No, I'm kidding.
This was my favorite book growing up that I read, like junior high up. This is maybe one of my most favorite books I've ever read in my life.
Where's Waldo?
No, that's a good though. Good.
One
que-
fish, 2 fish?
Three
Red
fish,
blue
4 fish, red fish,
Red.
4 legs,
fish.
2 legs bad. No, Lord of the Flies. Oh man, what I would
love
give
that
to
book.
see that in a modern movie.
Oh my god.
I don't know if they would do it just because they did Battle Royale a few years back. But they haven't done an American, so maybe.
They
Maybe.
haven't. So Lord of the Flies
rated R,
basically.
you gotta have Piggy dying from a boulder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta tell the
You
story.
gotta go the whole route.
God,
now you
that
don't
movie is
necessarily have to like
crazy.
you can make it your own.
Imply all
in-
the child death.
Right. Well, in the book, it's a
No,
it's a
you
British
show the child death.
It's a British class who plane goes down. They're on some island, and so
All
now
the
they're
adults
struggling.
die.
All the adults die. So now these children are struggling with civilization.
You know what's weird? The beginning of that is like every Disney movie ever.
Right, you know?
Isn't it? Like, oh, the
It's
adults
almost
are
like
dead,
a really
and you're on your own.
Yeah, like a
It'll
really-
be great.
Here we go.
and
La,
then
la, la,
and then
la,
children
la, la.
die.
And then kids die.
They did a TV show, I think, loosely based on the idea.
Yes, they did.
Lost.
And they really kind of. No.
Lost?
It was
That's
but, hey,
nothing to do
it
with
was a plane of people who crashed on a island, and
Yeah,
they
but
had
the
to
whole
start
point of Lo-
civilization.
The whole point of Lord of the
Similar,
Flies is
not
that they're
congruent.
all young children.
Similar,
Right.
not congruent, but yeah, it'd
There
be
was
great.
a plane crash and people died. That
Yeah,
was
right.
the
Loosely-
end of the
loosely-
That's
similarity.
where it all
Hey,
is.
loosely based. It's like when they do these like Hasbro movies, loosely based on Pac-Man,
By the way, Tetris is coming.
loosely based on Tetris. But no, man, how great would that be to
Makes me
get
wanna
like
die.
12 and 13-year-old kids, like up and coming actors and actresses,
Right, right. It's
crash
gonna
them
be
on
the
a
Black Hawk
plane.
Down.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
the
the
next
version
Black
of Black
Hawk
Hawk
Down.
Down.
Because all those kids will wind up famous.
That-
If they can
that-
pull off Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, that book was great.
Man, I did love that
I
book.
did a report on that book back when I was in middle school.
Me
You know
too.
what's funny is I liked all the. This is why I'm a nerd. This is it
Yep,
right
here we go.
I liked all the books that we had to read. growing
Right,
up.
right.
I love Grapes of Wrath. I love.
I didn't like all of them. Now I liked
I
liked
did.
when we did that stuff. I really
To
dug.
Kill a Mockingbird is like my favorite book of all
Yeah?
time.
I liked when we got into
I would have put it on my
the
list, but I don't want to make that movie again. 'cause
the
that movie
Edgar
was
Allan
amazing.
Poe. When we got into the Edgar Allan Poe stuff. I
Yeah.
dig it. But then there was like all the Charles Dickens stuff that I was just not into.
Mark Twain was one of my favorite
The like
writers.
what was
Oh,
the
heck
other guy?
yeah.
Mark Frost, was that him? Or whoever did like the poems on nature and stuff.
oh yeah,
Fire
and I
Nights.
chose the path less taken.
Not into that
Robert
stuff.
Frost.
Robert Frost.
I
not
actually
into
feel
that
like Robert
stuff.
Frost is a crazy egotist. I've read a lot of his stuff, and I can't stand him.
Not a
I
lot of that
haven't.
stuff.
I read that one like Fire and Ice poem and that was done.
Yeah. I feel like the whole thing's a braggart thing. Like, why even talk about which path you took unless you're trying to show people that
Yeah,
I
but-
took the harder road. Yo.
Right.
Calm down, 8 Mile.
They did that specifically so that everyone could use it in their graduation speech.
Right. That's exactly what they did. He was like, you know what I want to be? Quoted at every graduation for the next 200 years.
Exactly.
Poem. No,
Boom.
I really, really, really enjoyed a lot of those. Childhood's End, one of my favorite books. They made it into a miniseries. Like, I think those things are great. They stuck with me forever, and I guess it worked because like those are important pieces of literature. That's why we give them to kids to read, to learn,
Exactly.
teach those lessons. I love those books. The K was one of my favorite
Yeah.
books.
The
growing up.
Giver was a good book when we were kids.
The which one?
The Giver.
Yeah, The Giver. Mm-hmm. Is that the one? Which one is the one where the Jeff Daniels actually plays him in the movie?
The Giver.
It's The Giver, right? Where
Right.
they get assigned jobs.
They get assigned jobs or like this
Yeah.
utopian type era, whatever. Great stuff. Let's give out a break here.
The Giving Tree.
Yeah.
The Giving Tree.
Let's give a break to our fans here, listeners. When we come back, the Nico segment.
Boom, boom,
Nerd Thug Radio.
Hashtag talking nerdy to you.
Want to check out what it's like to be on the radio? Need credit for school? For an internship? Then contact Dick online at dick@irlonestar.com. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are here to be part of the community.
You are now entering the final segments of Nerd Thug Radio. I'm the Captain Joey Savage.
Corey
I don't know.
DLG.
Nico DLG. I don't know why I was thinking of the Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone.
That was not. I mean,
I was just thinking, I don't know. Now you're entering the Twilight Zone.
When we
Alright,
do
now-
your
oh, yeah,
segment,
okay, no, I
when,
get what you're
when we
saying
do
now.
your
Yeah, yeah.
segment, I think I'm in the Twilight Zone.
That's exactly what we're talking about
So a
today.
few weeks back,
Bazinga.
few weeks back,
show
we
makes me sad.
decided that the next to last segment was really lacking. Not a lot of people were listening.
Right. We
We were-
called it garbage time.
Garbage time. We were getting like 94% of people tuning out.
Right.
And-
Right.
So we said, you know what? Let's just do something stupid. Let's
Right.
give Nico his own segment. Whatever he wants to talk about,
Heck
we'll talk
yeah.
about.
And now only 91% of
After,
people are tuning out.
no, we were up to like 87. After last week,
Oh,
we
man.
roasted him on the Nintendo.
Oh, yeah,
we're up to
yeah,
like
we did.
70% of people hanging in. They want to
Whenever
know
we
what happens.
listen, you can hear the sadness in Nico's voice when Innocence dies.
It's like heart
He's
just
like,
breaking.
Because Nintendo's the best ever. He's
like-
very sad.
I was very sad. That was
Berries
very,
were dying every time we bashed Nintendo.
Yeah.
Every time Nico cries, an angel loses
It's his
their
wings. Boom. So, Nico, what we like to do as well is not have him tell us what we're talking about.
So we don't know.
It's all a mystery.
All right, so
I hope it's not about Harambe again.
No, it's not about Harambe
unveil
this
the
time.
mystery, Nico.
Okay. All right.
All right, this is a mystery of one of the greatest anime producers of all time.
Here we go. So you have no clue what's gonna happen.
All right, great.
All right, so there's a studio called Comics Waves.
My answer is B.
That's fair.
I like to go C on Scantrons.
Yeah?
Just because.
I like to make a butterfly. I don't
Draw
know what's
shapes
going
on there.
Yeah.
All right, so Comics Wave Studios is a really fantastic anime production company that do everything hand drawn.
Okay.
Oh
all right.
my God, it's so gorgeous. Everything they do. Get out of here, Joey.
Nope. We lost Joy. We lost Joy. We lost Joy.
Whoa, what?
Joy
what,
down,
Anime?
Joy down.
Anime?
Yeah.
All right.
You've only watched the Indigo League. The
Okay,
greatest
you don't
anime.
actually get 14 minutes to talk. You have to actually pitch us something.
Okay, so
You know, one time I did a podcast, an anime podcast.
yeah,
That's true. You did.
I listened to it.
My buddies at the
I did
Audio Otter.
Yeah, they were there.
Shout out to the Audio Otter.
Oh.
They invited me on for their 3rd episode. It's the most listened episode that they have so far.
It's
Did
lit.
you know I was on a Jetsons podcast?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. I just
And
didn't want to be left out.
their,
No one's asked me to be on a show.
Their
yet.
their
I do
main
guest spot.
focus. Their main focus is talking anime.
Oh, okay.
And all I had in my back pocket was Pokemon Indigo League.
That's an excellent choice.
And video games, which all I had in my back pocket was Lego games on the PS4 at the time.
hey, those
All
are
right,
pretty
okay,
good games.
okay, wait,
But-
wait. Let's get to Nico. I want to hear.
It was a great
what's the thing.
episode. Check out Audio Otter on SoundCloud.
Let's
So-
do this. What's the thing?
Okay,
So what are we talking
Condense.
about?
Give me
Anime-
to something that I can talk about.
anime in general is a very hard medium to get into. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Everything is so difficult because it's so outlandish.
Right. What do I always tell you? You start out with a really cool, like you say like 2 cool sentences, and then you add like 3 more things that make it unwatchable to me. It'll always be like, so there's vampires. and they
Hashtag
took
only
over
in
the-
anime.
Right. It'll be like vampires.
That's
They took
fair.
over the world, and there's this group of kids fighting. I'm like, that sounds cool. And then you're like, and there's schoolgirls, and one of them is actually a demon, and they can all fly, and one of them has a chain attached to its face. And then I'm like, I don't.
Okay.
What happened in this? That's anime. That's anime.
And so my point in bringing up the
There's
comics
this
wave-
giant monster, and the only way to kill him is to feed him sushi.
that-
I would
That's
probably,
anime.
I
That's
would watch
probably
that movie.
happened.
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
But it's like Mexican sushi,
Oh no!
so it's not raw fish.
Right.
It's really just burritos and hiding,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's raw Mexican.
and they make them fart, and then they blow up fire. That's anime.
That's
not an anime.
Oh.
All right.
I thought I was winning
right.
there.
So basically, what I'm getting back to is that the guy who's his name's Makoto Shinkai, and all of his movies, because he only does films, are all amazing and very down to earth and just very well written stories.
Okay.
So I always felt like would anyone be interested in watching an anime film if it was brought to the West? Because I mean they have before with like
Nico, what are you talking? Like, we just went to Lafayette Comic Con where there were like 200 kids dressed as things we don't know what.
no,
they
but
were.
I'm talking about like for other
Are
people.
you talking about
Like
mainstream?
the general, yeah. like
would
the general
would
public.
anime ever make it to mainstream?
It has once before with Spirited Away, which
Never
is,
heard of it. So is it really
Yeah,
that
no,
mainstream?
It beat out a Disney movie. And
Yeah,
won the
it
Academy
actually
Award.
debuted. Yeah, it beat a Disney movie. But it was animated, but like they spent a bunch of extra money to redub it. They went like super professional on it. I know what he's talking about on that one.
That
was actually
Hayao Miyazaki.
But that was
He
already
retired.
like an award-winning movie before it came over. That had already won a bunch of like international film awards, and that's why they brought it over. Would somebody
They brought
want
over most of his films actually.
But that was the first one theatrical national
Yeah.
debut, right? Because it
So
was
the
one that won
question
all these
is,
awards. Would anybody
would anime
another-
ever become mainstream? No.
No. He's saying like, could you know how we talk about those operas that they do at like in the movie theater? What's it called? What am I
Fathom
talking?
events.
Those Fathom events.
Okay.
He's saying like, could they do anime like that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
They've done it. They've done it a few times before. Dragon Ball Z, one of the big
Death
animes
Note?
here.
No, I think they could because,
Death
like
Note.
you said, we were just at Louisiana Comic Con,
Right.
and there's a huge following of anime here.
There
But
is.
it's mostly
It's-
teens and
it's-
below.
Exactly. It's
So
mostly
yeah, they could
young
definitely
folk.
do one of those movies in Fathom event.
No, I think they could. I think.
Will
what-
it ever become mainstream though? I think not.
Right. I think there's 2 different things. There's 2 things that have to conquer first. The first is the misconception that all Japanese cartoons, first of all, they're very poorly organized. And by that I mean what comes over isn't always like the first season of a show, and then they don't complete the series a lot of times.
Crunchyroll's pretty popular, right?
Typically, what happens?
Yeah, that's the website where they stream a lot of this.
Right.
It's like the Netflix.
that's basically their streaming service, and it's actually really good. It's really cheap too. But you have a lot
I
of.
don't know
variety.
why.
It's
Why it's cheap? I have no clue.
It's really nice service though. But basically what I'm saying is like anime in general is a very kind of weird subject because they release in all their seasons are incredibly short.
Right.
Like they're anywhere from 6 to 24 episodes, and like,
Not Pokemon Indigo League. That's a lot of episodes
yeah, but
there.
like that's like I feel like anime always has the extreme. Like they have really short shows at like 12,
Right.
and everything's like short, sweet, and it's really nicely done. And then they have I don't know, like One Piece has like 900 episodes, and you're like, oh, okay, and like 15 movies.
But they don't translate all of it. They only bring over some of it. So then you start getting into it and you can't finish it. And like that's the frustrating part. Isn't there there was a couple of pretty popular animes where they still haven't brought over all the seasons yet.
Yes, there's a trade. Naruto is a big one.
Right. Naruto, here's how big Naruto is.
It's probably the biggest anime out there in America. I would think.
Naruto?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Dragon Ball Z and
See?
Naruto. Those are
Yeah,
the
the two biggest
because
ones.
Naruto, I've actually seen kids at my community college on non-cosplay days when I was going to college in 03 and 04 dress up as Naruto, then go to class.
Yep.
Like they wore the headbands everywhere they went.
It's pretty cool.
I had to stop one of them. I was like, "What are you wearing? What's happening?" I thought it was a cult. I didn't know what was happening.
That was like this new ninja band.
Right. I was like, "What's? I need to know." And they were like, "Oh, it's Naruto. It's a show I watched." And I was like, "I'm out.
Dunzo.
I'm not going to dress up like a TV show to go to college."
One
go to
night
class.
we went to this cool place in downtown Houston called the Joysticks.
Yes, we did.
And there was a large fellow there by himself
nice.
Yes.
playing the arcade games,
Yeah.
dressed as Naruto.
Yes, he was.
Yes.
That's
So great.
incredible. I would.
That's
But so
great.
the end of Naruto though still hasn't come over, right?
There's actually 2 series to Naruto.
See how it got complicated?
What?
There's a series before, which is just Naruto, and then there's a time skip where they're like 6 or 7 years older, and that's Naruto Shippuden. We've
Right.
gotten both series though.
So it's
Right.
like Dora the Explorer, and then the
Diego-
older Dora Explorer.
Nailed it. Yeah.
That was definitely
Yeah.
the comparison you were going with.
Got it. I'm
But
great.
that's
I'm
the
great at
issue-
this game.
It's the issue with anime is it's so complicated. Like Ronin Warriors was the only anime that I know that I watched.
Watch the
Start to
7
finish.
Deadly Sins. It's in your list.
It's on my list. It's gonna happen on Netflix, and if it's crazy, I'm gonna text you and delete it.
I can't wait till the
It
YouTube
is.
stuff.
It's pretty good.
So we
I
can-
like
we
that
can do-
series
we
a
can
lot.
do
Oh,
my-
we watch-
I
yeah,
enjoy
I'm
we can
gonna
do
watch-
my
yeah,
we can do my bit.
we're gonna do some of these. But Ronin Warriors famously, they stop. Like they finish the story, and they still have like 10 episodes left in the season, and they go back and tell a totally different story with the remaining 10 episodes, just because they had a fulfillment. Like they had a commitment, and it
The
didn't.
thing is, that anime a lot of times works in arcs.
Right.
So like things never like it's never like unless it's a short series, we'll just have like one storyline and that be it.
See, here in America and in Britain, they know they have 10 episodes or 12 episodes or 15 or 22, and they plan it accordingly. I don't understand why they don't just do that there.
The reason is because
I wanna go to
lot
Tokyo.
Of,
That'd
a
be
lot
fun.
of it, a lot of it is based on manga, which is still ongoing. They're Japanese comic books. A lot of it, they're basing like the anime on something that's still being written right now.
Right, but you've got to at least. I think
I
it's
don't
for-
want to go to North Korea though.
No,
That's
that
definitely a
sounds
place
bad.
you don't want to be.
Actually, you know
There
what?
is Korean anime and it's really good.
They actually have like Americans go to North Korea.
That's a
Like
thing?
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman famously, but
Loves
no,
it.
Even unfamous people, but they still
North
give
Korea's
them
North Korea's internet got hacked. They got like 6 websites.
right. It was revealed. That's true. It was revealed that someone actually finally broke into North Korea's internet, and they have like 6 websites for the whole country to use. Like, but when Americans go, they get the same treatment that Dennis Rodman does, where they literally take them around and show them the fake cities. They sit
Like
in
the
these
fake
weird,
amusement parks. And
I crossed paths with this woman at one point who had been to North Korea. She was telling me these stories. It was just crazy, like just the way they want the rest of the world to view them, regardless of whether or not it's true. A whole fake city that they walk Americans through.
yeah, it's
Bangkok would be fun too.
You're just saying that.
No, Bangkok would be crazy.
Why Bangkok?
It'd be crazy. I don't know. It's like the
What specifically there would you like to see, Joey?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Name
exactly.
3 things.
no.
Exactly.
What would I like to see?
Name 2 things in Bangkok.
a
you'd
monkey
wanna
smoking
see.
a cigarette. That'd be kind of cool.
You can see that anywhere in Asia. We all know that.
Oh, can you?
yeah.
What happens
that's-
in Bangkok stays in Bangkok.
Probably not because of photos on the internet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you photograph and film everything.
I do. I mean, gotta
So,
They kind of
gotta document our lives.
They
our
do-
Nerd
they do
Thug
watch
Radio
videos.
lives.
Japan would be cool. I do want to go to Japan. I kind of want to. I'm sort of intrigued by like their hipster youth movement over there. where
Tokyo's where I'd like to
They
go.
have like an odd fashion sense. They do some really
Yeah.
different things. Also, they vending machine everything.
yeah, they
Oh
do.
yeah, they got
vending machine
for
pizzas.
literally
Yes,
everything.
vending machine pizzas, vending machine beer, vending machine underwear. Like they vending machine everything.
I'm buying underwear at the
everyone
Salvation Army
Everyone
once.
in Japan is
From a
so
vending machine?
like
No.
self-servant and everything that like they
There's
get,
so
like,
many people.
There's so
Yeah.
many people, but also like they like small children like walk themselves to school. Like they don't have like Literally, it's like two kids.
Although I've seen the footage of Rush Hour Japan subways. No, not gonna like staying indoors.
That's how people get around.
Like they monkey pile into that tube. Like it is. I couldn't do it. I would.
This is
I would break
exactly
down.
the reason why
I'd like
Japan
to go
also
to
has people who never leave
Montevideo,
their house.
Uruguay.
You'd go what?
Buenos Aires, Argentina would be fun too.
Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys. They're
I
cool.
would love to go.
Is there any Spanish anime?
Not Spanish anime. There's probably something that's dubbed in Spanish. That's pretty fun to
I
watch.
bet there's some Brazilian animes
I believe so. There's some niche stuff.
because they have like they're a little Asian-y with their culture.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to Amsterdam as well.
You just want to go there.
You're just naming places you can do stuff that's crazy.
Yeah. Like shrooms.
Okay.
You can do shrooms in Amsterdam.
You've bailed on this segment. You're like,
yeah, I can
I
do
thought this was
anything.
part of the segment.
You could
That's
go
what we're
places.
doing.
just naming
I
places
just
you want to go.
asked about Spanish anime.
Spanime.
Spanime.
You asked about Spanime. He didn't.
Spanime. Is that what it's called?
Am
It's
I on
not-
a radio show
should
with
be.
two morons?
That's what it should be.
That's about accurate.
Nerd Talk Radio has
Spanime.
just been substituted for moron radio.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Nah, definitely not.
The takeover is real.
The takeover is real. What is the Illuminati is real.
The Illuminati is
Here
real.
they come.
Yeah.
Triangles.
Hey, I saw this on TV. I do want to comment on this.
All right, what do you
Sure.
got?
Beyonce, my girl, the Bee Queen.
Queen Bee?
She was no, she's the Bee Queen to me.
Oh, okay.
I know. I never want to make sure the Queen Bee. No, she's not a bee. She's the Bee Queen.
Okay. Can you get on with your story?
All right.
Anyway, she was on the CMA with my favorite country music
know.
act, other than Garth Brooks, the Dixie Chicks. I don't know, like those. Seriously, I was so thrilled when I heard this was happening.
If the Dixie Chicks and Beyonce and Taylor Swift formed a power group,
Yes,
I'd be their
yes.
number one fan.
Yes,
Not only would it be the number one
yes,
thing,
I
you'd
would
go
pre-order everything. I would buy the fattest sizes of all their T-shirts. That would
You
be
have the
the
worst
super
taste.
group.
You have the worst
That
taste
would be
in
the
music.
greatest group of music for me ever.
You have
You
the
have no
worst.
idea.
You have
Nothing
the
else
worst
matters in
taste.
this
You have
world.
no like. Oh my god! I would
You have the
turn
worst.
off all other.
You have the
stimuli.
worst taste in music.
Really, because none of those people sell under 1 million copies of any of their albums.
Yeah, because there's a million little girls that buy them. You're a little girl at heart.
I am. I don't
His
care.
spirit
I don't
animal.
care.
His spirit
My
animal is an
spirit
8-year-old
animal's a
girl.
5-year-old girl. I don't care. Whatever. I would totally. By the way, Taylor Swift took this year off. Did not release an album. However, she did write Little Big Town's big hit. It's about a guy.
I'll crush a guy. Skull.
That's not what it's called.
Actually, what it's called is Nerd Thug Radio should take a break. Great idea. Nico, hit that funky music.
I got it. Don't worry.
We'll be
about
back to wrap up the show with something.
Wait, so
more
are they going to make a
interesting.
band or no? Because I'm already in line to buy tickets.
Nerd Thug Radio.
Hashtag talking nerdy to you.
I know you know this already, but most of the shows on Lone Star Community Radio are available in podcast format. If you want to keep up with the latest shows, just subscribe to our YouTube channel, Lone Star Community Radio, and our website at irlonestar.com. You can even follow us on SoundCloud and Twitter to see the latest posts from Lone Star Community Radio. Can't find a show? Then just search for it on irlonestar.com in the search bar to the top right of every page. Or just contact us on irlonestar.com/contact us with your questions, demands, sponsorships, anything. Lone Star Community Radio is your Montgomery County community radio station.
Live from Converse FM 104.5, 106.1, Nerd Thug Radio.
So we're here with the most enthusiastic man in
Yeah.
the world.
You guys were not expecting that
That
intro, were
was
you?
unexpected.
It's way too late.
It's
I'm
the
not
last
even-
segment of the show. We are Nerd Thug Radio. I'm the Captain Joey Savage. My heterosexual life partner.
Corey DLG.
The man who makes the magic happen.
Nico DLG. I don't even know.
I'm
what
getting
this-
us pumped up for this last
Yeah,
segment,
man.
guys. The hype man is coming. You know why I'm getting all crazy? Because I think we're going to talk some wrestling.
We are.
I
But I feel like you're about
love
to fight for
some
the Intercontinental
wrestling.
title right now. And
Oh, yeah. If you ever get bored at work, just YouTube Macho Man Randy Savage interviews.
yeah.
The greatest things in the history.
There's a really good one with the coffee cup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such great things.
Yeah. Cup of tea. He's a real
Yeah.
cup of tea.
Snap it to us, Slim Jim.
Oh, R.I.P., bro.
So,
R.I.P., bro.
I miss you.
Couple
He had
things.
a rap
quick.
album, by the way.
What?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, I need that on my
Yeah,
iPhone.
you need to Google that stuff because he actually has a track where he disses Hulk Hogan.
And then Hulk Hogan made his own dissing Macho
Correct.
Man Randy Savage.
All right.
They
there
were
was
the
no
two-
telling where it would have ended if Macho Man hadn't died. Like
Those were the two biggest names in wrestling at one point. They were even a tag team called the Mega Powers.
they were,
And they hated each other.
and I loved Macho Man. I was a
Yeah.
Macho Man kid.
Yeah, you were. I was the Hulk Hogan kid. You were the Macho Man
I think
kid.
it was because of that dumb song though. Because my mom used to always sing that song to me for no reason because I was not a macho kid. But she would always be like,
Macho Man. I just love Hulk
my
Hogan.
big head, little body.
They're the
Thought I
two
was
biggest.
muscular because I didn't have any fat because I was 8 pounds.
He weighed 25 pounds, and his head and his mole weighed 55 pounds
And
combined.
it was. I look like one of those. I look like an albino Somalian from one of those commercials.
With Rico Suave hair, you know, you had that
With a
Rico,
perfect head of hair. I
that
had the
perfect
swoop.
swoosh. That swoosh was
My
great.
mom made the greatest S curl ever on my head. Like I was Clark Kent from hairline up,
Oh,
and
it
then
was great.
hairline down. I
was
was
Jimmy Olsen,
that was Jimmy Olsen. Yeah.
not the new
Golly.
like
No, not the
improved
new cool black
Supergirl
one
Jimmy
in
Olsen.
Supergirl.
No,
The-
talking nerdy
the
old
lame
school
1960s Superman buddy.
after Archie.
Nice green vest.
So, all right. So I was telling Corey this funny story about Vince McMahon, and I made a comment that you had no idea about wrestling, and you
No.
loved it. That you could actually bet in Vegas on wrestling matches at big pay-per-views.
This blew my mind. This blows my mind for two reasons. Reason number one, wrestling is fake.
Correct.
The outcomes are predetermined,
Correct.
and usually that's what happens. They make a plan, they go in, they perform, execute. That's the plan. It's a show. It's entertainment.
Sports entertainment.
The second part about it that throws me off is so much of what happens in the pay-per-views and stuff is storyline driven. Like there's other people who get involved. John Cena shows up with a chair and hits a guy over the head.
I don't know if that's
DQ.
gonna happen.
Like all these kind of crazy things that get
I'm
thrown
waiting
out.
for the
and-
really super convoluted like card, like,
R-
and
yeah.
then John Cena comes out with a chair. And then he hits
Right,
a guy.
like how do you bet that? Like, okay, $50 on the Undertaker streak, and then $30 on John Cena interference with the chair in match 4. Like, when do you?
I don't know.
like,
I don't think they prop bet.
No, they probably don't. But that's why I wouldn't bet it because I know that so many times random stuff happens.
Right.
Like Seth Rollins cashes in his Money in the Bank right after Daniel Bryan wins. Seth Rollins is the champ.
Boom.
Who hit Seth Rollins as the champ? Because he wasn't in the match.
Right.
So how does he?
How do you bet that?
Yeah, how do you bet that?
So basically, where I got on this story was this past week. There was the Raw pay-per-view Hell in a Cell.
All right.
There was a main event match, and first time ever, the go-home match on the pay-per-view was 2 females.
Which is awesome.
Groundbreaking.
Girl power.
They put on a heck of a match, or should I say, a hell of a match
Oh,
inside of a cell. Anywho, they were going one way. Okay. The day of, I just did a little quotation marks with my fingers.
Correct, which you
They,
can't see on the air.
Vince McMahon changed the outcome. He put the
did?
belt on Charlotte
Instead of staying
instead
with
of
Sasha,
staying with Sasha.
who is my favorite of the two.
And so now internally, somebody has come out and said that actually Vince McMahon made the switch the night before, but only kept it between him and his like inner circle. And basically, Vince McMahon has not been happy because the finishes of some of the matches have been leaked. Not necessarily leaked on the internet per se, but they've noticed that the day of the pay-per-views, the lines in Vegas have been changing to the person that they're gonna win. Like everyone thinks, okay, this guy's gonna win. All of a sudden, the lines start changing some. Where are they getting this information from?
So someone's leaking info. An
So
insider.
he went old school mafia style, and only kept it with his inner circle to see if anybody was leaking information. And apparently, it's not his inner circle. So
Does it mean he just have to do like the big like trickle down? Like he'll just have to go next circle.
Yeah,
Next
no, it's
circle,
exactly
next
what it
circle.
means.
And so
Although now
it's-
the story's leaked, if you are the guy leaking the
You're
information,
done.
Don't do it.
yeah, you're done because you're gonna
Stop.
get your fingers broken.
You're getting a lot more than that. Vince McMahon don't play, man.
Yeah, you're gonna get speared by Brock Lesnar.
But more importantly than that, if they find out who it is, that's a felony. That's
Right.
It's racketeering.
It is
It's against the law to fix games.
right.
And if they can prove, here's where
Is it considered fixing games when it's fictional wrestling?
well because you're winning money, yes.
yeah, okay, I see that.
And here's where it gets tricky. Okay, because stay with me.
It's tricky to rock around, all right, it's tricky.
So in sports, the outcomes are never determined in advance.
Correct.
They play the games. When a player shaves points, he's trying to keep it close. He's not necessarily trying to influence winning and losing. He's affecting the points, the spread.
The spread.
Because the spread is what's relevant. In a match, though, the spread is irrelevant because there isn't one.
There isn't one.
There'd be only a winner or a loser.
Correct.
Therefore, because Vince McMahon is picking winners and losers, and the information is leaking, if the case gets really muddy, it could indirectly bring down the whole WWE because they're match fixing.
Could be.
Because they're match fixing and then they're
Could
moving
be.
the
I never thought of it that way,
'Cause then they're
Corey
affecting the line.
DLG,
I'm
but I
saying.
like where you're going here, big buddy.
Why are you doing a voice?
What is that?
That was terrible.
That was John Wayne.
That wasn't John Wayne. That was awesome.
That was John Wayne, good buddy.
Who is this man? Why is he here?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I know we got like 5 minutes left, but he's like phoning it in.
No, not phoning it. I'm having a great time. Let's go all night.
No,
Let's just keep broadcasting.
I would
As long
prefer
as
not
Hey,
to.
Dickie Schissler, I know we're supposed to be off at 3, but can we have till 6, please?
not if you're
I
gonna
got
do
a
another
lot
John,
more stuff to talk about.
Not if you're gonna do another John Wayne voice.
So Billy Corgan.
Oh yeah, can we do this, please? Can we do
You like
this?
that transition?
That's a good transition.
Yeah.
So Billy Corgan has been associated with the Total Nonstop Action Wrestling Act,
TNA.
TNA. What a great name.
I know.
For the last month and a half, 2,
I thought
possibly.
longer than that.
It hasn't been that long. It really, really hasn't.
And I kept reading Billy Corgan. I kept thinking it's so weird that a guy named like the Smashing Pumpkin singer would be involved. Yesterday, I found out it was the same dude.
The real Billy Corgan.
I literally because it never dawned on me like why would the
Why
Smashing
did this?
Pumpkins
Yeah,
guy?
why would this guy's not? You never have associated this guy with wrestling.
No,
ever.
because he's tiny and pale and he looks a little bit like Jack
And he makes
Skellington.
great movies. I mean, great music.
Yeah.
With the Smashing Pumpkins.
Right, and he's such a
He does
weirdo.
look like Jack
He
Skellington.
does.
And he's the Smashing Pumpkins.
Right.
So great.
He really does look like Jack Skellington to me. When he grins, all I think is like, "This is Halloween." So like, I didn't realize it was the same guy because I just thought it would be so weird that would be the same person.
And it is.
Turns out it is, and it also turns out he's no longer involved in TNA.
He is not. It didn't last
Wow,
very
that
long.
was fast.
Lawsuit.
So just brief history. He comes in to buy some shares. They decide they need a new direction, TNA, because TNA is failing.
They're floundering.
miserably.
The money's not right.
So
TV deals are bad.
So they all right. Let's Billy Corgan to resurge our stuff. Like
Such a weird thing.
Yeah.
Why would they
because
pick him?
The Smashing Pumpkins haven't been relevant in a little while.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't been in the public spot. Like it's not a guy to bring fire.
yeah, I don't
to
know.
you.
So he
They-
comes
they
in.
used their songs in a couple Rick and Morty episodes.
I do.
so-
I mean, I love Smashing Pumpkins, but it's not
So for a while, Hulk Hogan was the head of TNA
right.
with Dixie Carter, and now Hulk Hogan's out, obviously, and Dixie Carter has been like the Vince McMahon of TNA,
Right.
and
But nowhere near as successful.
No.
So I don't think it's really a fair.
not at all. So they bring Corgan in, and he's going to be like this person. He's going to change it around. And one of the biggest issues when a wrestling promotion is going down is people aren't getting paid, and that's the issue going on here. And so he's trying to come in and like right around their big pay-per-view every year. TNA is called Bound for Glory. It's like their WrestleMania if you're a WWE fan.
W.
And they were struggling to make sure they had enough money to put this event on.
Ooh.
So they had canceled flights for some wrestlers. They decided, hey, we're not gonna use you. Don't worry about it. We're gonna minimalize it so we can afford to do it all. Cody Rhodes was there. He didn't even wrestle on the pay per
Cody
view.
Rhodes
Like
was there.
him and his wife just made like
Yeah, they're
an.
supposed to have a tag team.
They did, but they just made an appearance at Bound for Glory, and then they pre-taped stuff
Right.
at TNA, and so then they had a mixed tag team main event a few weeks later that aired on TV that involved them, and so things haven't been looking good, and so Billy Corgan kind of saw it as a way to buy the company, like buy it outright, because
Essentially, he was going to knock. It sounds like take.
at one point, the WWE was in talks of buying it, and they were
Yeah.
literally going to buy it, take the video library, and just shut the rest of it down.
Yeah, because they don't need those wrestlers or that.
Well, they were going to take. They would probably take because they talked about a
Like
handful
5
of
or 10
wrestlers
of
that
them,
they would
yeah.
keep. But let's be honest, some of the older TNA guys are already in next right now, anyways.
Right.
And so there'll be a handful of them,
Samoa Joe.
a handful of them they would take, and they would just keep the video library to put up on the network and all that good stuff. Anyways, WWE backed out, or if they were even involved, I don't know, but they didn't go through. And come to find out, just this week we found out that Billy Corgan he filed a lawsuit, I guess, against them.
To try and force the
Them-
issue of buying
force
it.
issue. He loses the lawsuit, and then as of today, some Canadian company that I guess that's been somewhat affiliated with them has given TNA like a credit and money to run the company, and they've parted ways with Billy Corrigan. He's out, and he's
Bye.
taking to social media to be like, per court ruling, they're supposed to pay me in 2 days, and I haven't been paid yet. And
That's
they
all.
asked me for another day to get the money together, and then it was like, oh, hey, guess what, guys? Still haven't been paid yet. So
And I
more
bet it's a good amount of money.
more issues are coming here. But Billy Corrigan and wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird fit. Like, I guess it takes all kinds. It's not really fair for us to be like, but we are.
Because that's what we do.
That is what we do.
Oh,
but it's such
we
a
need
weird
to make
fit.
Jack Skellington and WWE 2K16.
We do.
2K17.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
yeah,
new one.
the
That's
new
the
one.
new one.
That's the new fire.
But so it's a weird fit to me. But yeah, it definitely. I don't know. You got to go with somebody who would bring more to it, like get
Right.
a rapper or something.
yeah, there we go.
You know, Jay-Z.
Ooh.
Man, can you imagine if Jay-Z had bought in
Or Lil Wayne. Rick Ross.
Birdman?
Rick Ross would have worked because they're based out of
You pick Birdman, baby.
they're based in Florida, so Rick Ross would have worked.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. It sounds
Whoa.
like maybe here's my problem.
Barack Obama.
Man, he does need a gig.
He needs a gig now.
He needs a gig. So here's my problem. When you have one person in charge for X amount of time, you and I talk about this in a lot of different aspects of a lot of different things. When one person is running things for so long and they're not working, you need to kind of reevaluate who's your decision maker, who's doing stuff. It sounds like in this new credit deal you were talking about, there's going to be a new decision maker.
There's gonna be a new head.
So,
Dixie Carter will still be like the face on TV and that kind of stuff.
however,
and like
she's not the decision maker.
she'll be like the TNA ambassador on the board, the
Right.
TNA board, and there'll be a new guy, like an outside guy coming in who will
from
be
the finance company.
the man in charge.
He's gonna be making all decisions, and so to me, that's what you need. You need a new decision maker. If you go like, listen, there's gonna be ups and downs. Stan Lee created the Marvel Universe.
Yep.
He is chairman emeritus. He is editor in chief for life. He is not involved in decision making anymore. He's not even involved creatively.
He just shows up and does films.
They filmed actually. You heard this? They filmed like 7 cameos for him because they're not. His health is actually starting to turn,
Right.
and so he's going to be in the next phase of Marvel movies, even though
Even if
he
died
might not be alive.
right.
That's pretty cool.
I think that's cool that they did that with him.
How would your last appearance be after you died?
Well, I mean, that
Like
happened a lot.
Heath Ledger,
James Gandolfini had like 4 movies
Robin
come out
Williams.
after he died.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. All right, man. That
R.I.P.
was a big one to me. That one actually I was deeply moved.
R.I.P.
I was sad that Robin
Heath
Williams killed
Ledger.
himself. Heath
Yeah.
Ledger. That one. too.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Less so by that guy. Does that sound bad? But so you got to have an outside decision maker to affect things, and I think that hopefully will help TNA. But the first thing they got to do is they got to make some big changes.
Yeah, they got to have some good storylines.
Yeah, they're so awful to watch. Every time I see a commercial for them, I'm not even interested.
No, not at all.
Step it up, TNA.
Well, I hope you're interested in this show we did today.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate all.
We're
the
going to
listens.
jump out here and continue listening on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1 if you're a Nerd Thug Radio guy.
Yeah. Tell some
And-
friends. Listen, we're going to talk about what you guys want to hear. Hit us up on the Facebook. Tell us what you care about. We're pop culture. That's what we care about.
We'll talk about it. Remember, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. Nerd Thug Radio.
Hashtag talking nerdy to you.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schissler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schissler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.